So again, you need to realize that in this life, there's only one person that you need to please, and that person is God. And I say this oftentimes, to people that the only person I am obligated to please is God. And in the course of pleasing God, if I please other people, then that's fine, that's okay. But I cannot displease God and by extension myself in order to please other people. So you need to know that you should set boundaries and know when to say no and focus more on making progress rather than perfect. One step in front of the other. You cannot try to become perfect. You cannot also try to become the best version of yourself in a day. Just know that mental stress. And then last thing I would say is you need to build a support network. This is very important. More often than not, men try to do life alone. It is very, very easy. We need to have brotherhood. You need to have someone that you can run to and talk to when, when you're feeling overwhelmed. It is okay to be vulnerable. It is okay to, share your fears. It's okay to share your confusion. It's okay to share your questions with other men because none of us has been here before. We're all on this journey for the first time, and we're all trying to figure this thing called manhood out. And I think it's important that we band together in that journey because we cannot go alone. And I'll end with this thought. In the Bible, we are told that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of love. And I do think that when everything we do is driven by love, when everything we do is driven, and it produces a sound mind in us, and that sound mind is necessary for us to be able to live to live in such a way that we balance that need to provide, that need to stand up for others, that need to be present for other people, and the need to also be true to ourselves and our innate desires and our ambitions and our aspirations. So it's important that as men, as we evolve in our journey into that we take close identity in God, and then to know that it is okay to not want to do everything and be all things to all men. It is okay to say no sometimes. It is okay to say I can't when you feel
Well, I'm afraid that that's the much we can take for now. If you do not mind, please put your hands together for Barrister Ifedi. I mean, he said, in the midst of the pressure, please prioritize your well-being. Can you turn to someone by your side very quickly? Turn to someone by your side. Tell them, in the midst of the pressure, please prioritize your well-being. Again, in the midst of the pressure, please prioritize your well-being. Yes, you must remember that when you die, life will go on. It's not about perfection, it's about making progress. These things are very important. Could you please celebrate yourselves once again? I would want us to do something. We have some ladies in the house, and there is one special lady that I would want us to celebrate. Could you please give it up for Nalu Kings? Everybody, I mean, we it's important that we celebrate these ladies in the house and every other lady who is here for the men's, all right, and every other lady who is here for the men conference. Could you please celebrate them as well? Thank you very much indeed for coming. Now that we have looked at the pressure to provide, and we fully understand that providing is almost the natural responsibility of every man, and providing also means hustling, how best, how well should you hustle? To take us on this session is no other person than Mr. Chinedu Ifechilobi. And he is a dedicated serial entrepreneur, business consultant, and the driving force behind TEDx Enugu as its primary licensee. Passionate about entrepreneurship and strategic growth, Chinedu has built a diverse portfolio spanning across multiple sectors, including agriculture, food processing, fashion, logistics, and business consulting. He holds a Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Sciences from the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital and a certificate in entrepreneurship in emerging economies from Harvard Business School in both business and innovation. Chinedu's passion extends beyond his entrepreneurial pursuits. He is deeply committed to the cause of the young man. Having initiated and participated in several initiatives to support young men to navigate challenges in today's fast-paced world, his work has continually focused on empowering men to lead purposeful and impactful lives. As a devoted husband and father to 3 wonderful daughters. Can you please celebrate this man? Chinedu balances his personal and professional life, embodying the essence of hard work, dedication, and family values. This afternoon, he will be speaking on the topic, Hustle Smart, Not Hard, Strategies for Career and Business Success. And with a round of applause, let's please make welcome Mr. Chinedu Ifechilobi. Thank you very much indeed, sir.
Thank you so much. That's a phonerized version of my name. Good afternoon, guys. Mandy? Mandy? Are you sure? Good job. I was just telling Victor here that I haven't met the kind of perilousness that we met today, trying to make our way to this event. We would have been here way before 11 o'clock, but our vehicle almost caught fire along the line just as we're about leaving Enugu. And then just about entering Nsukka, some evil policemen stopped us on the way. Did not find any evil in us as they refused to let us go. Right, but we're here in one piece. Quickly, let me celebrate Victor and his team at Double Edge Impact Network. I always say that the world and the next move of success and relevance belongs to the men or women who would invest their time, energy, and resources to shape culture, especially positive culture. those who would invest in pushing the right information and ideas out there to shape character and to shape ideas-based agenda that will take individuals into the next move, that will ensure that people are not lost in the haze of the velocity of time, because time is moving so fast that you can't catch it. What is real today will become so fake tomorrow that you'll be wondering what happened. I was looking at some very popular and successful content creators yesterday night, and I turned to my wife and I said, in a couple of years, if these people don't do some extra work, content creation will be dead and they will be left wondering what had just happened. So please, again, help me celebrate Victor and his team for investing in shaping culture and investing in pushing out ideas-based agenda to help the next generation, or to help people stand on their feet within the fast movement of time. Media people, you've got enough pictures of this, right? It's affecting my steeze and composure. So, Vic, I'm allowed to, yeah, thank you. It does not affect my anointing. It does not interfere on my anointing in any way. It's just tease and composure, which is very important. Some people only very few people caught the joke. Right. I was also, when we left the police checkpoint, I just thought to make a joke out of that incident, that he would have just turned back and started going home, because the policemen are just affected our anointing, so we possibly don't have anything to say anymore. But we do. I actually told them that there's a possibility that there's a heavy assignment that we are coming here to fulfill today, and that's why we're meeting the obstacles that we meet. But you need to understand that success is always against all odds. There is no story of success that is without odds. There's no story of progress that is without mountains, that's without valleys, that's without perilous times, that's without trying times, that the proponent or the protagonist in that story had to surmount heavily to get to the point that they got to in the scheme of things and in the process of their success. I want to also quickly acknowledge Kingsley. Kingsley just stepped out because I didn't know we were coming up quickly. Kingsley drove us here, and Kingsley is not my driver. My driver is actually in Enugu. Kingsley is the president of one of the Rotary clubs in Enugu, and he also works with the Frank Nweke Jr. Team, but he brought us here. I also want to celebrate and acknowledge one of the baddest men behind the camera you will ever meet, Ari. Ari is my guy. Ari has always been there, always been here through all thick and thin. And I don't think I deserve to have these kind of men moving around the country and the Southeast region with me doing this work. And somebody you've already recognized, Nalu Kings. I call her a baby Amazon. She's pulling her weight, and is very, 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 very passionate about the cause of women. So I don't know why she agreed to follow me here, because we used to quarrel about all those women empowerment things, because I'm also very passionate about man things, right? And I want to celebrate the ladies who are here. You've been celebrated, but let me celebrate you as well. You're queens, you're not kings, right? Dead that talk. That's how people say that. Dead the talk. You're queens, you're not kings. There's something peculiar about roles in not just relationship, but the scheme of things in life. There's something peculiar about roles. And with the movement of time, it seems to me that women are beginning to abandon their naturally assigned roles in society, and they are beginning to look to become more like men, or step into the role or the personality or the being of men or of a man, as the case may be. But there is something special about your natural composition as a woman. Believe you me, there is something that is genetically coded into your being, into your personality, into your physiology, that begins to make you to stand out beyond even what you understand about yourself. Because you need to know that there's a reason you are who you are. You need to know that there's a reason you have the physical traits and the physical characteristics that you have. So if instead of aiming to step into a queenhood, you're aiming to step into a kinghood, then you begin to alter the process of your journey into fulfilling destiny. Extremely important. This is not my assignment, but I just heard it in my spirit that I need to say this to you. As immediately I walked into the hall and saw that there were some ladies in the hall. So you need to, by all strength and awareness, embrace your femininity. Because all the power you need to be everything you are called to be in this life is imbued in your femininity. If there are married people here, this might begin to solve some confusions and challenges in some marriages. Because of the fast movement of time, we are beginning to blur the lines of uniqueness. We are beginning to blur the lines of our natural encoding. But the reason you have the look you have, the mannerism you have, the personality you have, the physical traits and characteristics that you have, is because there is something that is coded naturally into your being to fulfill a particular higher ministry. And when I say that, I want you to understand that there's a higher calling hanging on the lives of each and every one of us. Every day you wake up, there's a demand of life and destiny for you to take a step, even if it's one, towards fulfilling that higher calling on your life. So I've speed into my intro, my first intro. This wasn't my intro. Sorry, Victor, you know how we do. We've been here before, so you already know how this thing works. So we'll just take it, but I assure you that I'll try to keep the time. Because I started talking about our genetic code. I need to announce to you by way of introduction that there is something that God has codified in each and every one of us. I finished talking to the ladies now, and I'm talking to us generally, on a general basis. So if you look at the human anatomy, there is something special about the human anatomy. And if you study the human anatomy, you will understand that by just the mere look of a man or of a woman, and the very same unique characteristics that define us as different from every other animal or every other creation or creature, begins to imply to us that there's a set of behavior, that there are some aspects of our life and of our anatomy that we must concentrate on to learn the very single things that would help us to become successful in life and fulfill destiny. Get ready for it. You have a head. Your head is basically about the most single emboldened or amplified part of your body. And on your head lies most of your senses. It carries most of your senses. And when it does not carry it, your brain, which is in your head, controls every functionality in your body. And then you have a pair of hands. On your face, you have a pair of eyes. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth. There's a significance. You have a pair of hands. There's a significance. You have 2 legs, a pair of legs. There's a significance. And as I speed into my intro, I will announce to you that because your head is the most pronounced part of your anatomy, your head should be the most used aspect of your anatomy. Like I said, your head carries your brain. It is the house and the vehicle with which your brain moves. But in your brain lies so much power to singularly, as a human being, change the course of history. Every single human being who ever made history did not do it because of their hands, even if they are boxers. Did not do it because of their legs, even if they are athletes. They did it because because of the function of their ability to develop their brain power to the point that they started believing that there's something that they carry beyond the physical look and beyond the physical appearance that can propel them to do something that nobody else on the face of the earth has ever done. Scientists will say that even the geniuses use only 10% of their brains. Imagine what would happen to you if you use 15%. Think of any genius. Imagine what would happen to you if you ever use up to 50% of your brain. And that is why you must not subject yourself to the movement of time, to the being of time, because time is moving and you must move as well. You must not subject yourself to the traditions and the cultures and the practices that are going on around you. Because the people who have been able to make a difference, to make a dent on this atlas, to make a dent on this world, to make a dent on this globe, they questioned everything. And because we live in beyond Africa, possibly 4th or 5th or 6th world, Africa, and an economic reality that is not even stagnant, but is redundant and moving back with time, with the moving of time. And that education, on some level, to an extent, religion begins to threaten you not to question anything. But you must cast it away, because any process that threatens you not to question anything is encouraging you not to develop your brain power. Because for you to be able to make a difference, you must begin to ask, what if this is not right? What if there's a reality beyond this reality? The reason someone like Elon Musk is going to Mars, and he's saying that his agenda is to colonize Mars, is because he asked, what if there's life somewhere? What if there is another planet beyond this planet that they said is most conducive for man? And then he developed his brain power to the point where he said, okay, let's go check it out. If we perish, we perish. Another thing you must move on the path to developing your brain power is the concept of fear. Because one of the things, limiting factors and limiting powers in this life on the path to your greatness is fear. fear would stop you dead on your tracks. I don't know if you were like me when we were little, when we used to think that there were ghosts. Anytime that it became dark, you will basically hear footsteps. That is what fear does to you. You basically see movements. But if you're also like me, that as an adult has decided that there's nothing in this thing, let me just move on regardless, you will find out that there's nothing there. So fear is actually a concept of nothingness that you have allowed your mind to amplify so much that it becomes an obstacle. When we were growing up, they said it's false expressions appearing real. Because it's an intro, I'll let it go. You have 2 legs. But before I talk about it, you must think as if there are no limitations. You must remove the borders of limitations from your mind. Do not agree that anything is impossible. I'm tempted, scriptures fool my head as we talk now. Now scripture will fool my head. I can do all things. To them that believe, all things are possible. He wasn't talking to the angels. He was talking to you and I. He said to them that believe. But you need to understand that belief is not something you possess. It is something that possesses you. Have you ever seen a man possessed by anything? Have you ever seen a man possessed by anything? So begin to think beyond the borders of the limitation of your environment. That is the only time you can make a mark. That's the only time you can win. Begin to think as if there are no obstacles. Because to dream is free. Nobody will charge you for dreaming. Worst case scenario, they will sell you to the Egyptians, where you will eventually capitalize on your dream to become a prime minister. So when you understand that's a lie. When you understand that, you must move limitations from the borders of everything that you're doing, your feet will carry you to that place where your mind has dreamt so powerfully that your dream has become a vision. And the concepts of your vision have become a plan. And the concept of your plan moved your 2 legs to start working towards that borderless plan. You will get to your destination. I'll give a few examples. I'll run out from here. The world, every innovation on which the recent civilization is based on is borderlessness. It's borderlessness. Everything borders. We now have a taxi company without taxis. That's borderless. One company can sit somewhere in Germany or in the US and have business all over the world without even going into that country. That's borderlessness. We have real estate companies not owning real estate, Airbnb. That's borderlessness. We have internet companies not having offices in different countries, but having their services in those countries. Starlink, that's borderlessness. People are developing unmanned vehicles now. That's borderlessness. So if you must make a difference in your time and make progress in anything you do, you must engage the concepts of borderlessness. It also instructs your feet, because I said you have 2 feet. So you must also work and walk as if there are no borders, as if there are no limitations. In the works of your hands, in your study. Don't agree that thing the professor said is the final. Because he might persecute you in your exam, because I went through the system myself, go and give him what he wanted. But in your personal work, there's so much in your industry, in what you're studying. So you must engage, you must allow your feet to carry you beyond the borders of what you've been told. You must allow your feet to carry your body, to carry your reality, to carry your existence beyond what you have already been told. And then you have two hands. What does it say in Proverbs? It said a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the arms. And what? Poverty will arrive on you like a highway robber. So when God gave you two hands, what he was saying is that I am, because if he didn't need, there's that concept that one will chase 1,000, but two will put 10,000 to flight. Now, it did not say two will chase 10,000. It says two will successfully. Now, understand that the man that is chasing has not succeeded yet. But the man that has put to flight has succeeded. So when he gave you one, he's saying, be chasing. Don't worry, that one is it's important, but it's not that important. But when he gives you two, they become tools for success. They become tools for becoming who you must become. Like I said, it's a higher calling on your life. You're not called to be obscure. You're not called to be known by only UNN. You're not called to be known by only Enugu State. And I'm not saying that if eventually you're not known globally, that you've not done anything. But just understand that there's a higher calling on your life. Now, I will need to wipe my face. I don't know how we forgot. So understand that the concept, thank God, because this one will lead me into my real text and my thoughts. Understand that the concept of hard work is not wrong. Understand that you must work with your hands. Understand that you must burn the midnight candle. Understand that you must make sacrifices for the things that you want in this life, if you really want them. And that's how I'm going to end. I'll teach you the concept of sacrifice. So I was talk to you to hustle smart and not hustle hard. But it's, forgive me, Victor and the team, it's wrong comparison, because hustling smart is not the opposite of hustling hard. Hustling smart is the opposite of hustling without knowledge. Because no matter how smart you hustle, you are given two hands. For your ability to put the challenges of life to flight. To put the things that stand on your way to flight. Two hands. So to hustle smart is to hustle hard. But to hustle hard with knowledge. Because in Ecclesiastics, I don't like talking outside church and talking Bible, but I can't help it because I'm a Christian who is a business consultant and a businessman, Abi. And I need to announce to you that in the Bible you have the most powerful, the most resourceful book in life. So I meditate on it more than I meditate on the books of those who have succeeded, which is the only thing I read. If when I want to read business literature, I read, the biographies of the people who have succeeded. If you never do them, no, you don't have anything to tell me. But I also have understood by reading their books that even the Satanists among themselves, that all the principles they applied for success, they found in the scriptures. Either by just going through life and studying what it takes to succeed, or actually intentionally reading the scriptures. So Ecclesiastics will tell you that the labor of fools weary them because they do not know the way to the city. So the reason hard work is looked down upon is because people work without knowledge. And why did the Bible also say our people perish? Because of lack of knowledge. And what did Jesus Christ say is the principal thing? Say wisdom, knowledge, understanding. He says, in all you're getting, if you must get everything. And I celebrate our spoken word artist, please help me celebrate that young, loaded presentation. Because in error, people are busy defining other people by the reality of the things they have already laid their hands on. Forgetting that the reason they were able to lay their hands on those things are the men or the women that they became in the process of laying their hands on those things. So if you cannot become, you cannot achieve. God, the universe, and the forces of nature are more interested in whom you become in the process of this life than what you get. And that is why he says, in all you're getting, get wisdom. In all you're acquiring, acquire understanding. Because that is the foundation of success. So there is nothing wrong with hustling hard. But hustling hard must be along the pathway of knowledge. You must know. I was also in this school, God bless you, last weekend to talk to a group of young entrepreneurs. And I told them a story. I'll move on from this with this story. Well-told story. You may have heard it. But it buttresses my point. There was a ship in trouble. The company had done everything to fix this ship. And they had work to do. They had deliveries to make. But nobody could fix the ship. They called even the makers of this ship. And they tried, from afar. To sort out the problem of the ship. But nothing happened. So somebody just said, this old man we call when we normally have problems. But it's just for basic problems. This one that even the manufacturers, they say, call him. If you have a solution, say, call the man. The man came and said, start the ship. They started. He cranked. He said, okay. Start it again. They started. He cranked. He said, start it again. They started. At that point, he was messing with them, I'm sure. He cranked. He said, okay, just go to my tool bag. Just get me a hammer. They gave him the hammer. He gave the hammer to somebody. I said, please, go to this part of the engine. Tap 4 times. Don't tap once. Don't tap twice. Tap how many times? 4 times. So the man went there and kept the instruction and tapped 4 times. And he said, they started the ship and the engine roared to life. And everybody, they were celebrating. And the owner of the ship was also celebrating because he felt, there's a small process now. What's that? They just tap hammer. So there's no way he can charge us. They say, oh, Yoga, how much do we pay you? He said, no, you can't pay me. Let me bring my invoice. He wrote on the invoice, 10 million. 100,000 consultancy. But 9.9 million for knowing where to hit. That is knowledge. That is understanding. That is wisdom. 2 things you must have knowledge about. Key yourself. You must become a student of yourself. To know what you bring to the table. For those people, they will ask, what do you bring to the table? They say, I'm the table. How can you be the whole you? How can you be the table? You must learn seriously. Like I said, the way you study your books. A lot of adults walking around not knowing who they really are. I can't go into it because my time is basically up. But you must become a student of yourself, a deep student of yourself, to understand who you are. And then you must know what you give, the difference you make at every point in time. Whether it's in your home, whether it's in the school, wherever it is. Whenever you show up, there's something they call gravitas. You can Google it. It's spelled the way it sounds. Gravitas. I think it's a Latin or Greek word. The simplest way to describe it in English is personality. But it embodies confidence. It embodies knowledge of self. It embodies how you present yourself in situations and circumstances. It was gravitas that gave David victory over Goliath. Gravitas is what opens the door for you where every other person has gone and the door was shut. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be lifted up, you everlasting doors. That the King of glory, and the gate dead asked, say, who is this King? Say, the Lord strong and mighty. And that is how you must present yourself in the face of situations, in the face of circumstances. You must understand that you have the power to change things. You must understand that you have the power to make a difference. Because like we said, if you believe, everything will be impossible to you. Nothing can be impossible. And it's true. Because those who are doing it, they don't have two heads. I have only 5 minutes, they said. And that was like 2 minutes ago, so it's 3 minutes. Success in life is an extreme sport. You need to understand it. An extreme sport is the kind of sport that can literally take your life. So if you understand the challenges that are in front of you, then you will understand what you would need to do to surmount those challenges. There's no quick fix to success. And I want to believe that when I was given that topic, that was not what Victor and his team meant. There's no quick fix. There's something that happened recently that's always instructive. And people were tapping on their phones so that they can make money, right? What happened at the end of the day? If you try to appear before your time, you will disappear. The man who goes to a tree and wants to grab a fruit, if you jump, the highest you can catch is 1. And what happens immediately you catch it? But if you climb, what happens? You get access to the source. So there's no quick fix. It's an extreme sport. You need to blow away the matrix to be able to have access. You must train yourself. That's why I talked about the brain from the beginning. To think quickly on your feet. Bill Gates, after he became a massive success with Microsoft and became the richest man in the world, wrote a book. He called it Business at the Speed of Thought. You must do life at the speed of thought. You must equip yourself so strongly that you cannot come to any situation and not know what to do. And worst case scenario, build your networks to not know who to call. It's intentional. If we turn off the mic, there are things I will tell you. But in trying to find a solution to the question of your success, you must align yourself. I think Barrister Ifedi said it at some point. You must align yourself among the people who would be the emboldened knock at the door when you come to knock. All these people surrounding me, there are things they don't struggle at because I am around them. Oh, I'm having this difficulty. Okay, go there. When you get there, call me. Or ask for so and so person, give the person the phone. So you need to build a network of game changers. But for you to belong to a network of game changers, you must be one of the game changers as well. Because some people just like to stay mediocre, but they want to fly with some eagles. And when you go there, they will abuse you, use you, and dump you. And you're wondering what's happening. Why did they use me and dump me? Because you did not come to the table of network with value. You must approach the table of networking with value. If you don't, you become the doormat. Nobody will acknowledge you. And nobody will engage you at the point of value. That's a smart way to work. That's a smart way to operate. So for those who want to, make a change or take a leap in the process of their success story, you must engage your thoughts in the following. You must find the right, unique idea. I forbid you to start anything without a unique idea backing your processes and your movement. You must discover something in that sphere, in that industry, in that calling, in that profession that nobody else has ever discovered. I forbid you to leave school and write a thesis that you went into the archive to copy. Don't do that. I wasn't very serious with medical laboratory sciences. I've not practiced since I left school. But while my mates were busy going around looking for old projects, right? That's what you call it. To copy. I sat down and asked myself, what is the aspect of this profession that nobody else has? When I presented that, my supervisor was excited. Because at that time, she was also doing a doctorate. And my work helped her doctorate thesis. Because I went to an angle that nobody else. So you must, like I said, that brain power, I can't talk about it because they say my time is up. I'm just bullying Victor for extra time. So you must discover something that nobody else. Don't go in and say, what did they do? What did they say? No. The most valid question is, what is the need that nobody is solving? Recently, I gave an example with MoneyPoint. And recently, MoneyPoint was, discovered, or was not discovered, declared as one of the unicorns. A unicorn is a company that is worth $1 billion. Google and some other companies gathered and raised $110 million for a Nigerian business. Multiply that by 1,700. And you know how many, I don't know if it's billion or trillion it is in Naira. They gathered and raised it for them. And they were declared to be a unicorn. But why? I'm a business person. And for a long time, because we have a retail system around one of our businesses, and we're saying, what will it take for our staff? Like, I'm on this podium now speaking, and I'm getting calls or text messages from staff to say, somebody just paid X amount of money. I need you to confirm it because you're the only one who gets the alert. And we're saying, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Do we need to reach out to a tech person to design something new for us? And then somebody said, MoneyPoint does it. If you make a transfer, the alert comes to the POS. It's just that nobody will know the balance, but they can confirm from the POS. And believe you me, believe you me, MoneyPoint possibly has more credit capital than any other bank in this country as we speak. And then they are coy about it. They come and say, even if you do not register the business, don't worry, just open the account. We'll put it in your business name. And then down the line, they will send you a message. Please go and register with CAC. Find an innovative execution strategy. Don't operate like every other person. See, you're unique. Oh. And because you're unique, your pathway is unique. You must seek to tread on the paths that angels fear to tread. You must seek to tread on the paths that is least operated. That is why heaven is a narrow way. Not many will find it. In your journey of success, you must walk on a path that not many can find. That is what distinguishes you. That's what sets you apart. That's what makes you successful. Establish a sales strategy. So when we talk about sales, it's not just business. For you to succeed in the corporate industry, you must be able to sell yourself. I tell my people that there are 3 concepts you must succeed in life, in your path to self, whatever, actualization. Like I said, you must understand yourself, study yourself, understand yourself. Elevate is what they call the concept of self-elevation. I've forgotten the third one. But self-discovery, self-actualization, yes, and self-elevation. So you must establish a sales strategy. If you're not in business, how do I project myself so that the world cannot ignore me? Because the reason people stay mediocre and obscure is because they present in the crowd. They present the way the crowd is presenting. So everybody is screaming and losing their voices because they are trying to find out the person who will scream the loudest. But if you elevate a little bit into the realms where only the eagles fly, into the realm where only a few people operate, even if you whisper, your whisper will be loud. That's why one of my senior friends told me, he's a billionaire. If I call his name, you will know him. He said, real money don't make noise. You know, they say money talks. We were talking about it. He said, see, they do, real money does not make noise. It whispers. But anytime it whispers, people have no choice than to respond to his call. So Victor is insisting that I don't go ahead. Yeah, establish a scale strategy. You must have a seed mentality as against a harvest mentality. One of the reasons many people would not get to their level in life is because they have a harvest mentality. And a harvest mentality is poverty mentality. Let's eat today. Nobody knows tomorrow. Say, now the money don't come. May we chop. The money don't come. There's a song like that. May we chop. Now nobody knows whether Jesus Christ will come tomorrow. It's poverty mentality. You must understand that every increase you get is not harvest, it's seed. There's a large percentage of that increase that you must put back to the system that gave you what it gave you. In business, there's something called the entity rule. But Victor is pressuring me. He's trying to make sure I don't bully him. So let me leave it out. We can talk about it another time. Learn to play the long game. Like I said to them last week, there's nobody, I'm very sure that there's nobody in this room that's a rich kid. There's nobody in this room that's a rich kid. So if you did not come from wealth, where there is a trust fund waiting for you, where there's a company built waiting for you to come and take over and become CEO or at worst COO, you must decide to play the long game. You must have a short-term plan, a medium-term plan, and a long-term plan. Spanning from now to 20 years. You must sit down and work it out. Where do I need to be in the next 3 years? Where do I need to be in the next 5 years? Where do I need to be in the next 10, 20 years? And what do I do now to get there? In our business life, and I started business as far back as 2003, 4, 5, when I was still in the university. No time in my life have I ever borrowed a loan or taken a loan. None. It is the long game. I told some people that this, experience some weeks back. where I had to speak to a couple of young entrepreneurs too. Sometime in 2018, I'll tell the story and I'll wind down so you can take your time up away from my face. It's distracting me. Sometime in 2018, when dollar was, I think, either 165 or 175, we did a little business and we got, no, seriously, you need to put it down. We did a business and we got an inflow, good inflow. So we said, okay, a couple of thousands of dollars. What do we do? So we split it by percentage and threw $1,000 into what we call the dollar mutual fund with a particular bank. And we forgot about it, funny enough. I don't normally forget that kind of thing. But sometime last year, the bank sent us a mail and said, you have an unoperated, financial structure with us. And we said, okay, we replied. I said, how much is it? He said, it's $3,500 now. And then we sat back and said, what have we done? In 2018, $1,000 at most was 180,000 naira. As at last year when we were short, by this time, that money is almost 7 million as we speak. So how do you convert 180,000 to 7 million without moving a muscle? The ability to play the long game. The ability to play the long game. And I end with saying you must learn to sacrifice for everything that you want. Like I said, there's no short path to success. You must understand that for you to get everything you need in this life, to become everything you've never been in this life, you must do something that you have never done. To achieve everything you need to achieve in this life, you must become something that you've never become. You must make sacrifices for the things you want. I had a relatable story, but it would take me a longer time. So I take the short one, and that's how I normally end. There was a king in the Bible, I think Moab, a Moabite king, whom the Israelites needed to go to war against. And when they were preparing, they went to the prophet and said, would we win this battle? And he says, the Lord says go. God says go, and you will win. And they said, okay. So they went into battle. And they started slaughtering the Moabites like it was out of style. And they finished beating them on the war front. They started pursuing them back to their city gates. So when the king, mounting on the city gates, looked at the approaching army and saw that the Israelites were cutting down his people and they were about to come and possess his city gates, what did he do? The Bible said that his wife had a child, the heir to his throne, who was suckling at her breast. He snatched the baby from the mother and smashed his head on the city walls. And the scriptures recorded that that day, a great indignation rose against the army of Israel. And even though God told them that they were going to possess the city gates, they had to turn back and run back to Israel. I don't know if you understand the story, but my question is, what are you ready to sacrifice for everything you've ever wanted in this life? Thank you for listening.
Come on, young man, you can do better. Give it all for Mr. Chinedu. Amazing one. Thank you very much indeed. The question again, what are you ready to sacrifice? Can you turn to your neighbor and tell them sacrifice changes everything? I'm not telling you to be kanayo, but then sacrifice changes everything. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for that borderless exposition. God bless you greatly. Now, we're moving very fast. We know that there is something called ego. There is something called the need to be seen. There is a desire in everyone to want to be noticed. But how then can you manage this Is it by giving yourself to peer pressure, to influence, or even consuming drugs? There is someone in our midst today who will, of course, do justice to telling us what the real highness is. So, with a standing ovation, people, let's please make welcome the resident pastor of the Winners Chapel International, Unsuka, Pastor Prosper, to the stage to talk to us on the real highness. You're welcome, sir.
Hallelujah. Father, we thank you. Let's lift up our voices and appreciate God. First of all, is the reason why we are gathered here. We don't make light of it. We are not taking it for granted. Jesus, we celebrate you. We thank you for a time like this. We give you all the praise. We give you all the glory. We give you all the honor. We give you all the adoration. Lord, help us, O God Almighty, at such a time as this. Let your word, O God, come with specificity. Let somebody's heart be altered positively. Let somebody be imparted for good. Let every concern be visited by your power. Do for us, O God, what we cannot do for ourselves. Take all the glory and let the blessings remain ours. In the mighty name of Jesus. Father, we thank you. In Jesus' mighty name. Let's put our hands together for Jesus. And let's be seated in God's presence. Well, it's my very sincere privilege to be integrity and freedom. The real highness begins with early discovery of the purpose of God for your life. Purpose has to do with the original intent in the mind of the manufacturer concerning a product. As you are here, you are not a biological accident. You are here because of a purpose. Until you discover that purpose, life remains a wandering game. You are moving like a vagabond. It is discovery of purpose. That is where the beginning of fulfillment in life starts. And the earlier you divine or you discover purpose, the earlier your life begins to make meaning and sense. The earlier you discover purpose. Purpose is something you discover because you have a purpose. You are not a biological accident. Irrespective of who you are, whether you are a man or a woman, there is a purpose concerning your life. You are here for a reason. Purpose has to do with the reason why you are here. You are here for a reason. And vision helps you to catch a glimpse into the reason why you are here. That's vision. But purpose is the original product. You are not a biological accident. And when men or young men or women can capture that early enough, it sets them on the right pedestal in life. If not, that's where all these other matters that we are going to be addressing will begin to play. The reason why you see people joining or veering off is because they have not discovered purpose in life. And the pursuit of the same, you pursue it with all gusto. That will now help you to build right value systems early enough to be set in the right pedestal for life and destiny. My prayer for somebody, you will not miss it again. Now, resisting peer pressure, like I just mentioned here now. Just some friends who were dancing together. That's how, before you know it, I ended up a cult boy. I became head of cult so that you understand that I didn't just I was a cult boy for a very long time until God. A lot of people I knew, they are dead. A lot of people I knew, they are gone since. We're moving from schools to schools. We, at times from those states, we come to the east. We come to do a lot of things. I can't give you those details. Those are gone. If any man be in Christ is a new creation. If you like, go and call police. I'm a new creation. All things are passed away. And behold, all things have become new. That's the reality. But a lot of things. But the discovery. My advice always now, when I see people now, is how to train and get people not to make, because in a school like this, there are courts here, or you don't know. This UNN now, you have courts here. I know, I'm aware. There's no way you don't have them. And you find out it's a menace in our society right now. It's causing a lot of havocs. Right now in Benin City now, you know, Edo State is another prime in issues like that. In the last 1 year in Edo State, about 200 people have been killed because of cult activities. In Benin City, women had to come out. If you go online and check it, you see they were making protests. They were protesting that their men are going, that they should help them. The new governor now, Okwebolo, he now stood again and he has effected some measures to see how to capture and see how things that will become. But it's a normal issue there, because you find out in Benin, in Edo State like that, in some families, married people, the people have graduated, they have left school, some of them are my age and above. But they are still involved in some of those things. It shows you the menacing or the menace of cultism. Very, very wicked to destroy destiny. Young people are being killed by the day. They have terms for all those things in courts. They are going. Most of those people that are going, some of them would have been presidents, governors, entrepreneurs, businessmen, or champions of our time, but they are dying by the day. Why? Because of wrong value system. Resisting peer pressure. Peer pressure refers to influences exerted by a person's peers or equals to conform to certain attitudes, behaviors, and values. Or it is a social pressure that can come from your friends, classmates, teammates, or other individuals in a person's social circle. Peer pressure can be positive. Peer pressure can be what? Positive. Encouraging individuals to try new experiences. It's possible. That's part of peer pressure. Develop new skills or stand up for what they believe. That's a positive idea for peer pressure. However, it can largely be negative, leading to individuals to engage in risky behaviors, compromise their values, or conform to harmful norms, and encouraging someone to try hard drugs and the likes of that. Alcohol, you see them, you find them in school here. They lure you to things like that. Pressuring a young man to engage in sexual activities when he is not yet married. All those can be as a result of peer pressure. Influencing somebody to skip school, join a cult, engage in trancy, persuading someone to compromise their values and beliefs. All those are influences of peer pressure. Peer pressure can be subtle and overt, having not hidden, not secrets, subtle and overt. And it's not always easy to resist peer pressure. It's not always easy, but it's possible. Am I communicating? It's not always easy, but it is possible. However, developing a strong sense of value, setting boundaries, and surrounding yourself with positive value systems and influences can help to navigate peer pressure in a healthy way. It goes a very long way. Hear what the Bible says. In Romans chapter 12 verse 2, it said, do not be conformed or do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by what? The renewing of your mind. Don't be conformed. Don't allow the anomalies or the pressures from any angle get to you. Be not conformed to this world, but be metamorphosed by the renewing of your mind. He said in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 17, he said, come out from them, come out from among them, and be separate, says the Lord. Touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. He's telling us clear. Come out from them and be separate. Matthew chapter 5 verse 14, he said, you are the light of the world. A city that is built in a hill cannot be hidden. As lights of the world, be separate, be different. Make up your mind to be different. It's a mind you must choose to be different. It's a choice you make. No one can force you or pressure you on that, but you make up your mind to be different. There are influences around us. There are some of us, we are very, very fickle. We are fickle. We can, fall or subscribe to a lot of things. And it's not very good. You have to be very resolute and determined in life. Build the right value system based on the truth. That's what helps you to escape such nonsenses in life. Substance abuse. Substance abuse. Substance abuse refers to harmful or excessive use of substances, including alcohol, tobacco, drugs like marijuana, cocaine, heroin, fentanyl, hallucinogens, inhalants, steroids, and other harmful substances. There are some of them that are drugs, but the way you take them, that they can become problems. So there are drugs. There are drugs that are prescribed. Some of them you can go and buy them from a chemist, but they have harmful implications. That's the issue. For example, as a believer, alcohol is forbidden. Talk more of these harmful substances like drugs and steroids and the likes of that can bring a impedance on your physical health and your relationships or overall well-being. There are people, because of drugs, they have gone mental. You see some of these mad people, you see, it's drugs that some of them took them there. Or you don't know, marijuana, the likes of that. Marijuana, cannabis, and the likes of that. What you call, is it Igbo? You call it. What do they call it here? Something like that. Igbo, I don't know the nickname they call it in this environment. But from Edo State, that area where I'm from, we have names for all those things. Praise God. Now, additionally, some substances, like I just mentioned, are legal, can be prescribed, but still have potential for abuse. Abuse means abnormal use. If you take some of them excessively, it can cause you serious harm to your system. And at times, continuous taking of such substances in abnormal measures brings about a kind of addiction. And such addictions can cause a mayhem effect on you. Hear what the Bible says concerning these realities. He said in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 and 20, he said, you shall not ingest anything that will harm your body or mind. Is that one clear? That's clear enough. You shall not ingest anything that will harm your body or your mind. We are in a part of the world where at times people want to. I went somewhere recently to preach, to minister there, and I now told them alcohol is detrimental. Alcohol has somebody in the congregation, in the church there. Somebody told me that. I said no. Somebody almost started resisting me. I was on the altar preaching. The person told me, he said no. And I told him, is there an issue? He said the reason why he has stopped even drinking now, he said, is because the price of alcohol has. And I asked him, I said, what are you saying? I said, you mean that if the price had not gone up, you would still continue in it? He said, yes, now. He now quoted the scripture for me now. He said, in the Bible says that there's nowhere that they say you should. And I said, okay, no problem, continue. Praise God. It goes a very long way. Ephesians chapter 5 verse 18. He said, do not get drunk with wine, wherein it is what? Excess. But be filled with the Spirit, speaking to yourself in psalms, in hymns, in spiritual song, singing and making melody in your heart unto God. One translation puts it like he said, do not get drunk on wine, which leads to debauchery. He said, instead, be filled with the Spirit. It tells a lot. He said in 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 16 and 17, he said, you are the temple of God, and the Spirit of God dwells in you. So be very careful about this. Now, the next is cultism. Let me just try and analyze it, because my time is up, almost up. Cultism. Cultism is a serious social problem in Nigeria. I'll try to analyze it. The origin of cults in Nigeria dates back as far back as 1952, when the pirate confraternity was established. I think the likes of Wole Soyinka and co. And also they are called National Association of Sea Dogs. And then we have the Buccaneers confraternity started in 1963. But all these ones were modeled similar organizations from the United States. But over time, things changed. In 1970s and 80s, cultism began to take a darker turn with the emergence of groups like Black Axe, New Black Movement, 1978, founded, and Eye Confraternity, founded in 1969. These groups became associated with violence, extortions, and all manner of criminal activities. Today, cultism is a significant security concern in Nigeria, that we have well over 100 cults in this nation right now. Well over 100 cults. In the east, here we have all manner of names. Mbangba brothers, there are different names. Different confraternity, Juris, confraternity, KK, Ku Klux Klan, or there are a lot of names like that. And all of them are known for mayhem. Like I just mentioned again, that over 200 people in the last 1 year in Benin City alone have been killed because of cult activities. 200 people, young men, all of them, men, have been killed because of cult activities. I think this matter is still on right now. If you go and check your social media, you will see some of those things that the women are protesting. See, our men are going. Our men are going. They are crying because of deaths and oh man, boy, if you find out whether it's Black Axe and Eye or one other, those are the issues. I'm from that area, so I know what obtains there. It's only God that delivered me. Those days in school, I would have been killed. I would have been killed, but God just helped me. I was able to come out, and I gave my life to Christ. And that's what changed the narratives for me. I gave my life to Christ. It changed the narrative for me. Now, cultism is a social menace that can be tackled if right moral values are sown on time in the hearts of young men. But the problem is that it's not only men that are in cults. Those days we were in cults, women are even involved. I don't know about this area, but there are women that are initiated into cults. It's something we were there, so I can tell you forehand. There are women cults members. I don't know about this area. I don't know about Nsukka. I don't know. But I know back then there were a lot of women cults. All manner of things. They put themselves under risk. Some of them, if it's not the cult issue, it might be HIV or something that will just, because some of the girls, they go, their brains are turned back already. They can't do anything. I'm the one telling you. It's something I was involved in. They can't do any. You see some girls, for them to initiate them, they might they may have a chain of men that will sleep with them. That's initiation. That's initiation for some of them. So it's a serious error in our system, and it's causing serious menace in our values and foundation. But I believe that right foundational values on time will help. Among those 200 people I told you have died, possibly they would have been presidents, governors, entrepreneurs, professors, and the likes of that. But it's far from it now. The truth is that any young man that captures vision on time, ravenous wolves. He said in 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 14 and 15, do not be yoked together with unbelievers. For what to do, righteousness and wickedness have in common. Do not be what? Yoked together. Don't be equally yoked with unbelievers. That's what he's saying. He said, For what do righteousness and wickedness have in common? What do they have in common? He said in 1 John chapter 4 verse 1, test, because many false prophets have gone into our world right now. 2 Corinthians or Timothy chapter 4 verse 3. He said, for the time will come that they will not endure sound doctrines anymore, but after their own lusts shall they heap up to themselves teachers having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and they shall be turned into fables. Praise the Lord. The real highness, vision is key for you to take your part on the right pedestal of life and destiny. Catching a vision, catching a glimpse of the purpose of God for your existence. Purpose is the reason why you were created. The original intent in the mind of the maker concerning you. If you catch it on time, you will never be a victim of whether drug or substance or cultism or peer pressure. If you capture vision on time, you can never be a victim of these challenges. We have examples of the Bible of men that gave themselves to God early enough. David, and because of that, he was able to stay focused and stay tuned with the life, with his calling and the work of God on his life. Psalm 1 verse 1 says, blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the ways of sinners, nor sits in the seats of the scornful. He said, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in it does he meditate therein day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth its fruit in its season, and his leaf shall never wither, and whatsoever he doeth, he shall prosper. He said, but the ungodly are not so. They are like the chaff, and the wind driveth them away. Therefore, the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. Let your values be discovered on time. Let right values be discovered on time. Father, I thank you. Thank you for this session. Thank you for this time. Thank you, Lord, for your power. Thank you for values. Thank you for mission. Thank you for purpose. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray for these ones, that this seed, so God Almighty, will go a long way for them. That your greatness and your graciousness will answer positively in their lives. In the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Thank you for your time. I beg
we celebrate Pastor Prosper
to take my leave.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much indeed, sir. Indeed, the real highness is vision. Catch God's vision for your life and purpose. And definitely the confidence that you need will be achieved. Once again, can we please celebrate Pastor Prosper as he takes his leave? Of course, we are moving very fast, and we have gotten to that point of having a conversation with one of our speakers. I think one word that was resonating throughout his speaking was borderless, right? Borderless. Now it's time to have a borderless conversation with Mr. Chinedu. So with a resounding round of ovation, could you please make welcome to the executive chair in front of you, the borderless Mr. Chinedu, as it takes your question. Can we please have the refreshment now? Okay. Okay, definitely, sir. Definitely, sir. Please feel very relaxed. Put your questions together. Please, soundman, play something for us as these guys get their questions ready. Please, whatever it is at all that you have in your mind, whatever confusion that you have, this is now the time to pour it out. We have someone that will provide answers to your questions. You can trust me on that. Please put your questions together. on anything at all. We are celebrating young men in the house, on business, on, of course, love. I mean, we have someone that's a father of 3 children. We want to know how you've been managing. We have just 5 minutes to do that. We will entertain about 10 persons. 10 persons. So be very quick, be very articulate with your questions. Please go straight to the point.
What club do you support? What club do you support?
Okay, I was a fan of Barcelona. Barca. Once
What happened to the
I
once?
stopped watching football.
Because they started breaking your heart.
I'm telling you, I mean, since the time of Messi's leaving and the rest of them.
Your cheat code.
Exactly.
Your
It's
cheat
all
code
good.
left and you left as well.
Exactly. Ines, no people like that.
Your Joro part of football.
What part?
Your Joro part of football.
Exactly. It's all
You're a
good.
Joro football fan. He's giving me the blue coded mic. That's why I asked. All right. So while you're putting your questions together, Victor, they had informed me in the mail that they sent to my team that I'll be taking this session. Unfortunately, because of the activities on the road, we're held back on this whole thing. We're meant to be in Enugu in the next 30. Like we should Enugu go. It's not possible. So, we're trying to manage the next appointment that we have. But I'm glad to answer any question you have about life, whether it's relationship, work, business, anything that's bothering you. We can talk about it. But I've pleaded with Victor. They had planned for it to be 50 minutes. I've pleaded with him to make it 30. So please don't wait till about 3 people have asked before you get the motivation to ask. So please, just ask your question. But since it's a men's conference, please turn off the music. There's something my friend, what's your name, bro? What's your name? Yeah. What spoken word? Ephraim. There's something he addressed in his spoken word, and I feel it's something I try to amplify for men every time I get to speak with men. In fact, we started an organization of men because women have everything. Women conferences all over the place. There are 20 Women's Day in a year. There's Girlfriend Day. There's Divorced Women's Day. There's Girl Child Day. There's Women's Day. There's Mother's Day. There's Grandmother's Day. There's everything. And men will have only one. And when it's time for ours, nobody talks about it. In fact, that's even the time for women to remember, what do they call it now? Single mothers. Yeah, Victor, I saw that post that you made. Forget about the single.
Yes.
Let's hail them on Women's Day.
Yes, sir.
But when it's Men's Day, please don't remind us that there are men who abandoned their children and their wives, and there's a
And
single
women who
mother,
are doing the roles of men.
and women who are doing the roles of men.
Yes, sir.
But the truth is, the boy child is the most pressured and the most what's the word now? It's the most pressured and the most not the word is not underrated, and the most the word has escaped. It's with all these women, their spirits are strong. I've stolen the word from the air. But men are too pressured and too cajoled. Not cajoled, what's this word? Are too let me say heckled, more or less. Everybody's complaining about man. Men are scum, men are this, men are that, men don't handle their business. Men are actually supposed to be domesticated. So the whole thing is on men. The whole thing is on men. And I've been a part of all that conversation, even when I was growing up. And it was important that I made that allusion to us embracing the power of our sexes, the very inherent power of our sexes. And just as we should not objectify women, through sex, There are even places you will come to in the corporate sector, and they will tell you, don't tell the woman that she's beautiful. Because when you say that, you're playing down on her capabilities.
True.
You understand? But nobody now says, don't tell a man that he's broke. Don't tell a man that he must bring money to the table. Don't tell a man that he must do this or do that. Nobody does that. So the male child is more exposed than the female child. And that's why if you look at the mental health statistics, you have more men suffering from mental health than women. And that's because a man is also expected to be strong all by himself. You understand? Not to share his problems, not to cry, not to be emotional. I think your generation calls it simping now, that you're a simp or something if you do some of these things. So the man finds himself boxed in a corner. And when I talk about borderlessness, you also need to, as a man, try to free your spirit. And number one realization you need to understand is you are not what you provide. That's not who you are. That's one of the things Ephraim mentioned, and I needed to embolden it. You're not what you provide. Your worth is not the money in your pocket. It's not what's in your bank account. It's not the car you drive. That's not your worth. We must make this money. Mandy. We must make this money.
Yes.
Eventually, we are positioned to make the money. But that's not your worth. Understand it. Because sometimes we lose our personality in the bid to get to our success story. Because people have defined you because of what's in your pocket or what's in your bank account. Even some mothers make the mistake of saying, look at your mates. You understand? People like us, of course, not my mom, but people like us, we had that comparison growing up. I was in an environment where a lot of people got married before me. You understand? And I got married at 33. I didn't marry that old. But there was a pressure in that environment, both church and, the present community. And everybody was saying, why is he not married? Why you go and marry? Go and do this. A lot of my mates got jobs ahead of me because we finished school and I had to go into studying the path of business. So most of my mates got into jobs and started earning money immediately. So a lot of people were getting married, buying cars. But I can tell you, and it's not pride. And I don't mean to. But just to share my experience with you, half of those people, they're recording this thing. But I'm sure you know where I'm going to. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So don't allow society to put pressure on you. The only positive part of pressure is when you take it positively. And understand that even if I am not there, I am on my way to there. But when it does not affect you and when it does not change your thinking about your personality and your worth and your self-worth, if when you don't allow those things, the things you lack, the things you don't yet have to define you or to define your journey. All right? So no matter what it is, you must not give up while you push. But you must also not allow anybody to talk down on your masculinity. There's more to a man than the money in his pocket. There's more to a man than the money in his bank account. There's more to a man than what he drives. There's much more you give to the world by just being there. Believe me, there are things that can't happen to your family from outsiders if you're just seated there. I seen I'm working in Ebawa, right? And there's a man in the it's like a lion in his den. All right? So don't, when the money has not come, it's an opportunity for you to elaborate those aspects of you that really make you a man. You understand? Your personality, your presence, your ability to not back down in situations, your ability not to be a coward, not to cower out during situations and circumstances, your ability to face anything and decide that it's either you succeed in that thing or you die trying. That's what makes you a man. It's a power. And that's why they put all this weight on us, because they feel we can carry it. They feel we can take anything they put on our plate. You understand? So when the money has not come, when the success story has not been told, it's your opportunity to build capacity in every other thing. Because when that money comes and you've not been able to build capacity in those things, money will now expose those weaknesses. It will expose those things you haven't built. And that's why you see a lot of rich people who are frustrated. rich people with personality issues, rich people who are not confident in themselves. All right? You find a lot of them in Igbo land. That's why, so let's pop champagne, let's throw money so that they will know we have arrived. You don't need all those things. If you build the real man, you don't need all those things.
All right. Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for him. A round of applause. A round of applause. So much insight shared. Thank you very much, sir. So we have a few questions here, and a number of them are bordered on business.
Okay.
And most of them are asking how they can balance, being that they are still in school. What advice do you have for them? And then, as an entrepreneur you are, how do you get to discipline yourself as a successful entrepreneur in order to manage the other things you need to manage, your family and the other engagements that you have? So what advice do you have for a student who is looking to venture into business, and how do you as a person get to discipline yourself to continue to be successful?
The answer is the same for both questions.
Okay.
All right? That my senior friend I was talking about actually said something in a meeting I was in. I actually hosted that meeting. It was at the last TEDx Enugu. He said that work-life balance is a myth. There's something I understood when I was in school, and I used it to plan my timetable. And that timetable created the platform for me to go do business while I was in school. And like I told the group of young entrepreneurs in this same UNN, last weekend, that I forgot what it was. I told them I wanted to make allusion to, anyway, I found out, that I graduated top 5 of my class. Not minding that I had to go do business trainings. I did Leap Africa training, business leadership training, youth leadership training. I volunteered for Leap Africa. I was always on the road. I was in politics in my department. I was running 2 businesses, a laundry and an Obioma business. I was going to Aba to make shirts and sell to people, you understand. And at the point, I wasn't going home to ask for anything. But I combined all those and still graduated top 5 of my class. As a student, 24 hours is too much for you. 24 hours is too much. Within that 24 hours, you can do everything you want to do. A book I read back then that helped me is Zig Ziglar's Over the Top. He wrote one, I think he said Meet You at the Top. Then he wrote a second one, Over the Top. I didn't even finish that book. But I got to a point where I had to make a plan. I had to write some affirmations. I'm not big on affirmations anymore. I'm big on doing. Because most times when we focus on affirmations, we just feel that those words, when we speak them, we've spoken them into being, and we'll go to rest. Nothing will come, no result, nothing. All right? But you have to do. You have to be a doer. All right? So I had to plan my day. Okay, within this time, I'm reading. Within this time, I'm reading. When I'm on the road for most of the semester, 1 month before that semester ends, I shut down every other activity. I shut down every activity. Church activity, school, I don't go to lectures. When they go to lecture, I give my neighbor money to photocopy the lecture notes for me and come back. That time is all the books, all the classwork that I didn't read while I was on the road, I will read them throughout. And that's the same thing I'm doing now. Ask any of my team members. If you send me a chat by 3 a.m., there's an 85% chance that I'll reply you. Pastor said it, Pastor P said it before he stepped out, that men work at night. You understand? So 24 hours is, we rest too much. We play too much. We watch football too much. You understand? There are some things you've taken on as very important in your life that are not that important. When I was in secondary school and I was so excited about going to fellowship, which you must do because it helped form me. You can hear that almost everything I say, there's Bible in it, and it helped me grow, right? But my dad used to tell me then, he said, cut down on these things. It's not time for them. It is time for this one. You will have too much time for that one when the time comes, when you can manage it. But now there's something you need to concentrate on. All right? So you need to define the things that are important to you and then give it your all. Work-life balance is a myth. Work on all the things you need to do. Reduce so much of your playtime. Only play when it's very necessary. Some years back, I wrote on Facebook that I don't stop when I'm tired. I stop when I'm done. And that is one of the, principles that have kept me going till now.
All right. Thank you very much, sir, for that response. So there are three persons that are requesting for further explanation on what you talked on earlier when you were speaking. So the first person wants you to explain further what you mean by sacrifice. According to he is confused.
Okay.
Another person is asking for further explanation on what you meant when you said sell yourself.
Okay.
And then, another person is asking, what do you mean when you say build your network to not know who to call?
To not know. Okay, no. What I meant is that don't ever get to that point where you don't know, where you have somebody to call.
Okay.
That's what I meant. So maybe in the haze of constructing my words, I said something, so I needed to correct that. There has to be always somebody. There has to be always somebody. I joined a business in Port Harcourt some years back. And within 2 days of joining that business, I was made top management. I was made top management and junior partner in that business within 2 days. Why? I got into the company when the business was about to grow. You understand? And they needed a lot of things all over Nigeria. And immediately I came, I started providing solutions. There's somebody to call in Kaduna. I pull up my phone contacts and I have someone in Kaduna. There's somebody to call in Lagos, Abuja, Uyo, Enugu, Onisha, So I became Mr. Impossible, and right there and then they didn't want to let me go. So within 2 days, it sounds impossible. But like I said, all things are possible if you understand the principles, right? And you play the game, because it's a game. You play the game. So there's hardly any time in my life. Our very first TEDx event, it was TEDx Bisala Road. It wasn't even TEDx Enugu. I told my team members that I want Peter Obi to speak at that event, and they laughed at me. My own team members, not Nalo and Harry, them. Those ones have moved on since, because I don't work with unbelievers. They were not believers. They didn't believe. They laughed me to scorn. I just told them, okay, watch. At the time I was saying it, I didn't know who, But they say you're 3 people away to anybody you need to meet. And it's true. Believe it. Believe it. When some of these principles are done, believe them, test them. At the beginning, you may be 5, you may be 10. But over time, you will find out that you're very close. You're very close. Somebody just replied my chats. Somebody that I've been looking for to partner with on our next TEDx event. My team does not even know what I'm talking about. But yesterday night, I found out he was on a chat group with me. So I isolated his number and sent him a message. He just replied me. I was talking about P2B. So I just sat down that day. We had a meeting at night. The morning I sat down, I was thinking, how can I reach this man? How can I reach this man? And I remember that there was a friend of mine who lives in Onisha. He's a rich kid. So his father knows P.O., right? So he did an event and he hosted P.O. So I called him. He said, I'll give you his number. Just call him. I said, how? He said, call him. I said, how? He said, call him. I said, okay. I took the number. I called. The man did not answer me. It was around 7 a.m., 7:30. I sent him a text message. I told you about value. You cannot come to the networking table without value. I sent him a text message and said, this is who I am. This is the event that I'm hosting. This is what the value this event will give to Igbo young people. And this is our aim for starting it, because we want to increase the knowledge base among young people in the Southeast. Kindly let me know if you're interested in speaking at this event. Around 10:45 a.m. he called me. The very PO called me. My phone was shaking. My phone was shook. And I picked it up, I steadied my voice and talked to him like, right? I was telling you about gravitas, and talked to him like I wasn't in awe of him, but I was. And he committed there and then, and said he was coming for the event. The morning of the event, around 5 a.m., he called me. He was exercising. PO. I don't know how many of you have exercised in the last 2 years. As older, so sometimes you watch these rich people, not just these successful people. The principles are the same. Like I told some people some weeks ago, the tools of success and business progress may have changed. The tools may have changed, but the principles remain the same. He was working out, and he said, Are you sure it's 10 o'clock? I said, sir, it's 10. He said, because I know our people, they will not come. I said, it's 10. 9:45, the man showed up. And we started running around because we were not ready. we were not ready. Even in our belief, and all, we were not ready. And he spoke at that event. And since then, it's been in my contact. I've been now giving people, who are serious. You understand? So it's, don't ever find yourself in a situation where you need intervention. You've worked hard to a point, and then you now know that the next thing is just that link to close the circuit, and you're helpless. No. So you must intentionally build a network. You must intentionally build a network. One of the networks that's important in this life, in this Nigeria, you need to have lawyer contacts, and you need to have force contact. Force. Very, very important. Police will dirty your white in this country. Just like they tried to. When they were trying to frustrate, I told my people. Why? Because I have a commissioner of police, an assistant commissioner of police, and a CSP who I can call now. And unless they are not with their phones, they will pick my call and call me by my first name and ask me how my family and business. And why? Because I met them and I made sure that they did not forget who I am. Some of us are okay with just collecting people's contacts without leaving a memory. You understand? Some of these men, they are doing child education. I spend heavy money. That's sacrifice. I send money. In short, one of them, I just heard that the commissioner of the IGP of police had the same surname as him. I know it's not his brother. I called him. I said, Rakadedi, and someone. He said, how far now? I said, I just heard that one of our brothers is now the IGP. He said, we're not even from the same state. I said, he has a surname. Don't worry, send your account number. I'm serious. It happened. I sent him. So even if it's in the middle of the night, if I call him, he will say, okay, let me call this person, let me radio this person, just go. He's in Abuja now in Force Headquarters. There's nothing, right? Okay. So build your network. What are the other two questions?
How to sell yourself.
How to sell yourself. No, the first one, I want to start with the first one before.
The first one talked about sacrifice.
Sacrifice, yeah. Yes. So the story I would have told if I had time, thank God that we'll have this opportunity, is the story of P.O. versus Tinubu. Okay. Right? I tell it all the time. Now they've heard it over and over from me. Because that's the story I end with all my presentations. Because there's nothing you can talk about in life that sacrifice is not part of it. For us to even be free at this point, people made sacrifices. Spiritually, Jesus Christ had to die for us to get to this realization of life. Right? Because if you read the Old Testament, you could see that there's some darkness hanging over the whole world. All right? And somebody had to pay the price. And that's why I say, for the joy that is set ahead. So is there a joy that is set ahead of you? There's a cross to endure, to assess that joy. It's a principle of life. All right? So about the same time, I think it was Tinubu's second tenure in the early 2000s. He was governor of Lagos State while P.O. was governor of Anambra State. Right? Both of them served 8 years, double tenures as governors, right? And one of them decided that he was going to be president immediately after he became governor. But what did he do? He amassed the wealth. I'm not saying he's right. But now listen to another principle of life. In getting what you want, it's a bit tricky, but it's true. In getting what you want, good is not always rewarded. And evil is not always punished. The Bible says that righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is a reproach to a people. Right? But it did not say that righteousness will always win over sin. It did not say that. Now, in Nigeria, unrighteousness is winning. Abi? Am I with the right people? Am I talking? Am I all by myself? Am I in a strange world? Right? Unrighteousness is winning. That's why our economy is poor. That's why we're buying fuel for over 1,000 naira. That's why there's so much corruption. That's why we have the kind of leaders that we have. That's why there's so much kidnapping, so much armed robbery, so much yahoo, so much all these things. Unrighteousness is winning in our environment because unrighteousness is making more sacrifices than righteousness. Unrighteousness is building more networks than righteousness. Unrighteousness is positioning itself more than righteousness. Unrighteousness is paying more price to win elections than righteousness. And that's why he's winning. That's why he's winning. So this man sat down and amassed the wealth, built the network. That for many years, for all the states in the south west region, he was determining who will be governor in all those states. For many years. For decades, he was determining who will be governor. And of course, if he makes you governor, that's also how Wike is getting very powerful. The first time he ran for election, River State election, Akwa Ibom election, and Abia State election were very fraudulent. So they were going to lose in court. They had actually lost at the appeal court. It was said that Wike gave 29 billion to buy those three court judgments at the Supreme Court. 29 billion, one person. And when Obaseki left PDP, left APC to join PDP to run for governor second tenure, he was the one that bankrolled that election, and the man won. And you're wondering why, if he sneezes, the whole of PDP catches cold. It's sacrifice. You must be intentional. Like I said, you must be ready to play the long game. Do you know from 2007 till now, how many years Tinubu planned to be president? And he was constantly planning it. When he saw that his party could not do it all by themselves, network, he joined CPC, Buhari's, and said, you become. Let's see that it is possible. Let's test that it is possible. That's hard work. Do you know how much money he has spent? Do you know all the background jobs and the midnight jobs? You're not children, so I can't be breaking some things down to you. That he did. And then when he now saw that the proof of his work has been constant, he now said, it's my time. If you watch some of those videos, there's a place where he said, I will become the president of this country. And he was talking to people, he was campaigning. But he said, forget about it. I will become the president of this country. And what happened? Even though 200 million of us, both at home and diaspora, stood against him, and he stood against a good man, he still beat everybody and became president.
Thank you very much, sir. Please,
That's sacrifice.
A round of applause. A round of applause. A round of applause.
You know? So selling yourself is just, it's not going to stand on the street and do a shower walk. It's presenting yourself in a very attractive manner. You know, there are people, I will advise everybody to go, well, not the men, mostly the ladies, because most of those things taught in those things are some finishing etiquette schools. You know how to package yourself, how to speak assuredly, you know, teach yourself confidence, believe in yourself. There are a lot of people walking around on the face of the earth that don't even know. See, you don't have to come from a rich family. You don't have to, I don't know, like I told the men, you don't have to have much in your bank account. But position yourself. Believe yourself. Gravitas, brother. Believe in yourself. Show up like you're not a loser. You understand? Because there's something in your confidence that will begin to elicit confidence towards you from the person who will do you a favor. There's something in your confidence. There's something with the way you show up that will begin to give somebody the impression that if they say they are capable of this thing, they are really capable. I employ a lot for both my businesses and for other people's businesses. And we make mistakes, the mistake of gravitas. Somebody will just come, package themselves, tell you that they will bring down the moon from the heaven and post it on top of the office's building. And you say, man, this guy has got to be somebody. And you bring them in, and within the first week, you're wondering, is this the same person that was at this interview? But it got him a foot into the door. All right? Most times they say, don't say no. Can you do this thing? Your answer should not be no. Your answer should be yes, even if you cannot. And they say, please, give me a few minutes. I'm coming. I'm telling you, as a businessman, the very first time I heard Blue Ocean Strategies, they called me into a room and said, we need you to craft a Blue Ocean strategy for some of our new products, blah, 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 blah. Can you do it? I said, yes. Why not? Why not? It's okay, fine. So can you give us your plan? As I was telling them why not, I just bent over my phone. I was Googling Blue Ocean strategy. And I got the job. I got the job. Right? So that's how to sell yourself. We don't have time. That's how to sell yourself.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so we have a number of other questions that border around business, and maybe you'll speak to them
Yeah,
generally.
let's shoot
So
fast.
one, must one go through a business school in order to run a business? That's number one. Then, can someone start off a business with just ideas when he doesn't have capitals to fund the business? Yes. So please, maybe.
Must you go to a business school? No, you don't have to. Half of our billionaire brothers in Alaba and Newi did not go to school. Did not go to school. I did not say business school. They didn't go to school at all. Right? But they were embedded in a community that gave them experience. So research is key. Experience is key. If you understand the principles, you can do it. You actually don't have to go to a formal school. But schooling is important. That's why I say wisdom, knowledge, understanding is very principal. Extremely important. You can invest in your own education. I didn't do my Harvard Business School course was till 2021, shortly after COVID. That's when I did my though I did, some business leadership program. But it was just, it wasn't a school. It was training. There are training programs here and there. There are books that you can read. Don't read. Something I wanted to say, I had written it down this morning. Be knowledge in motion. When you read to apply. Don't read to know. It is the application of knowledge that gives results. It's not because say, see, a powerful guy. When he speaks, the whole building is shaking. But when it goes out, there's no results. Like I said, you must be a doer. Right? So no, you don't need a school, but you need to learn. You need to train yourself. You need to understand the principles. You need to read and then apply the knowledge. Then, when I started my business, I can't say I started with capital. Right? So there are a lot of businesses that you can do. That you don't need capital. I'll give you an example with the laundry thing. Okay? So, some hardline businessmen will say it's capital because I had transportation to the offices to go and, tell them I'm a laundry, I run a laundry service. But that time, laundry people didn't used to deliver in people's homes or offices. You have to take your clothes to the laundry. But I took the laundry to them. I went into banks, I talked to them, I said, no, all you need to do when you're coming to work, put your clothes in a Ghana must go bag, take it to the office, I'll pick it from there. When I'm done, I'll bring it to you, either to your house or to your office. You understand? So that's what I did. I bought clean, Abiomo. Then how much? I think it was 5 naira. Then, things have really changed. I was just some years down the line. I bought, there's this sachet starch. Then, I think it was 10 naira or so. And one can starch like 5 shirts. You understand? So you can imagine 5 naira Omo, maybe a couple of, so maybe with about 3,000 or so. But the first delivery I made, I think I made about 10,000. You understand? I already had iron in my room. I already had the clothing line where I spread the clothes. I already had water in the hostel. It was hostel, oh. It was hostel. You understand? And that was where I raised the money to start the shirt business. So you understand the seed versus the harvest mentality that I was talking about. So there are a lot of other businesses where people manufacture things, but they don't have the market. They don't have enough access to market. Like if I make 10,000 stuff and pieces of a product and I sell it in 1 week, if somebody will give me the path to the market that will make me sell those 10,000 in 3 days, I will do business with that person. You understand? So you can be an off-taker. There's something they call it now. People just make you order things. You pay for it. You've not gotten it. God bless you. Drop shipping. You understand? So you might not have all that Chinese contacts, but you can go to businesses. So, guy, you sell, how many loaves of bread do you sell in a week? He will say, we'll sell 1,000. He said, well, I can add 500 pieces a week if you can give me something for doing that. It's okay, fine, I'll give you 50 naira less. If you can do extra 500 in a week, 50 naira by 500 is how much? Did you put money in it? Did you produce the bread? So there are businesses, there are things you can do that you can do without. So you actually don't need what you need, like that person asked, is, what do you guys call it again? OT.
All right.
Okay, I first have to appreciate you for your whole speech and the way you've been answering questions. It's quite captivating, to say the least. So what I wanted to ask was, one of the things you first mentioned, you talked about removing the concept of fear, and that being like a key ingredient to borderless thinking. So I want you to walk us through it. I want you to give us like an experience, to share one of your experiences with us, where let's say you were scared, so to speak, of a new venture or something like that, and tell us how you overcame it and then tapped into borderless thinking.
Everything you will ever do in this life that you've not done before has fear surrounding it. I fear that I may not succeed. All right? I fear that a particular thing might fail. The last event that we did, TEDx Enugu, we had about 1,300 people attend that event. We sold out the hall. It was one of the biggest halls in Enugu, the Base Event Center. We sold the hall out. We had about 300 people outside begging to come in. But before that, we did this event in a hall as big as the Base, Amadio, and we didn't have up to 250 people in the building. Vic, this is for you too, because I noticed that, you scaled the size of your hall, right? So when we stepped out, we were even telling our prospective sponsors that we're hosting over 1,000 people. I was afraid that I just did less than 250. Do you understand? But like they say, that courage is not the absence of fear. That courage is moving on despite the presence of fear. You understand? So, the fear is not real. The things you fear, they are not real. In fact, you are the one that manifested. Job said, that thing that I fear has now finally come upon me. So you're the one that manifests what you consider as that obstacle of fear because you gave it flesh. You understand? So you must train yourself to move despite the obstacle. I perfected it now. You understand? I perfected it now. Like, we get there or we die trying, or we die in the process. And I've never seen anybody who says, if I perish, I perish, that perished. None. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were not careful to answer you. Even if you throw us into the thing. We will burn now. But he will protect us. But even if he does not protect us, we are still not. That's courage. What did Job say? Job said, I know that my Redeemer lives. Even though he slay me, yet will I praise him. That's courage. That's killing fear. That I'm venturing into this thing. And it seems like there are dangers on the way. But I believe that I'm supposed to succeed at this thing. So irrespective of this, I will go through. Because if I don't go through, I will not succeed. Like I said, for the joy that is set ahead, this cross might consume me. So let nobody think it was easy. Because at night, he bent down to pray. Say, please, nah, this thing is fearful. Take away this cup from me. But he got himself and said, it's not my will, but yours. So I'm ready to go through it just to make your will happen. So you need to understand that there's an active part that you have to play in the fulfillment of his will over your life. But you have to move regardless. Because the devil will tempt you after 40 days and 40 nights. He will make them to try to stone you. He will make them to try to push you over a cliff. He will bring Judas. He will bring Thomas. He will bring all of them. They will all come. Life will not allow you to have a free pass to your success story. But you must move against all odds.
A round of applause. A round of applause for our speaker. A round of applause. A round of applause. This has just been amazing and insightful. Please, the last question, sir. Someone asked a question about, managing relationship with his spouse. Someone asked a question about managing his relationship with his spouse, okay? And he wanted you to advise him on how to manage relationship with his spouse when he can't just reason with her. When he can't just reason with her. Since we are talking about men day, and in his house, he can't reason with his wife. What's the advice you would give to him? And then, I would like you to also conclude with your definition of positive masculinity for our audience.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. See, I wish women are not here, but it's the truth. I'm afraid of how they will feel when I say this, but I will push regardless. See, women were created to be in your way. Women are created to test the very fiber of your existence. That's why they are. That's one of the number one reasons. In short, God created women to challenge you so that you can beat that challenge and become a real man. Yeah. Yeah. Because if Eve did not come, Adam would not have been tested for God to know that he has the ability to fail in keeping to his instructions. The guy was basically easy, moving around, dangling his manhood all over Garden of Eden. Naked man, just having fun with the animals and chopping fruits and things and vegetables. He was having maximum fun. You understand? But the only test of Adam's ability to take charge of his affairs, the affairs of his home, was introduction of Eve into this situation. Women will always seek to challenge the authority that is existing in a place. Always. Always. Half of the time, they don't do it frontally. They will not challenge, but they will find a way. They will find a way. If you're not careful, before you know, you have relinquished your position of authority to your wife or to your babe, as the case may be. And she'll be running things. If you used to go out and come back by 8 p.m., by 6 p.m., you're worried. Now, I don't know why this woman will complain. No. This woman, I don't want her to complain. Because she will be in your ear. Till through your ears, she will tune your brain to what she wants. She will not fight you. The unwise ones will fight you. But like I was telling them to embrace their femininity. A woman who embraces her femininity will get almost everything she wants from her man. Do you know what I'm talking about? So it also now behoves on the man to be aware of this fact. Because while Adam was keeping to those rules untested, Eve came and said, bros, take this thing, eat. I got an idea. Just in case. They want more. So when they are saying, I don't want to marry a broke guy, they want more. And that's why it's dangerous for, our ladies to date Yahoo boys. Because it's hard for a woman to step down a standard. They always want more. They want to marry up. They want to relate up. They want to network up. A man is okay to build a community of people that but a woman is strategically positioning herself, wants to break that haze, wants to cross. Right? So, having painted this principle, so you need to understand that there is a relaxed war, but it's a war. It's a war. And as a man, the prize is your authority as a man. It's your authority as a man. But your authority is also not to lord it over the woman. Remember the requirement in one of those Ephesians, where it says you must love as Christ loves the church. and gave himself. So the one who will give himself will not press the neck of his woman, because that's not love. You must find a way to present leadership in her front so that she believes in your ability to lead. Because lead you must. If your woman is leading the relationship, you have failed in your number one responsibility. Because no matter what the world says now, you are the head of that relationship. You are the head of that relationship. So you must assert your authority, but not through violent means. And not by bullying. And that is why increasing your brain power is important. There are some things my wife will feel very strongly about. And I said, let's discuss it. Let's sit down and talk about it. I said, for me to agree to what you're saying, you need to give me a higher reasoning than what I've put on the table. And half of the time, she does not succeed. The time she succeeds, I say, okay, there's high opinion. You understand? So first of all, what you're doing is you're asserting that I am the veto power in this situation. So I have to sign off on this thing for it to happen. See, you must insist on it to the point that there will be breakdown of law and order in your home. And she will not talk to you for 1 week. But you must insist on it. Like I said, it is the standard that you must lead the affairs of your home or the affairs of your relationship. So you must not relinquish that. Because see, the funny thing, I'm sorry, ladies, for want of a better word. The funny thing about women is that when you relinquish that your power to them, they will begin to disrespect you. Their honor for you will drop. If they succeed in taking that staff of office from you, and because you're playing nice guy, I know a lot of my friends who left their marriages because of what I'm talking about. They relinquished the authorities. And the next time they wanted to assert it, the woman could not understand it. And at that point, her rating of the man's ability had dropped. So how is it you that is now telling me that I should go and do what? What's the meaning of that? And the man too could not understand it. Because all this while I've been playing nice guy to you so that there will be peace. So you need to understand that peace is not the absence of war. Half of the times it is when there's no violence, so I don't even spank my children anymore. So there's no violence, right? But it's OT. So you have to trade blows. There's what it's in the American-Russian diplomacy. There's what is called mutually assured threat. So America has nuclear weapons facing Russia. Russia has nuclear weapons facing America. And that's why they've not fought. So when they fight is when America is fighting somebody, America will now go and support that person. That's why they call it Cold War. You understand? So you must understand that the price is your authority as a man. You cannot relinquish it, because when you relinquish it, her rating of you will drop. So you must assert it. But you have to assert it by brain power. You have to assert it by brain power. And you have to make her believe in your leadership. And women, this is to you. Don't marry a man you don't respect. If you want, let him have $1 billion. It is a recipe for disaster for your life. Because the influence of that money will wane away. The influence of his tall, dark, and handsome, six-pack, and broad chest will wane. It will wane. At that point, that money becomes nothing to you. But the honor that and respect you have for the leadership abilities of your man is what will keep you working with him as a sub to his mission. And also realizing yourself as well. There's a reason the man is called the bridegroom at the point of the wedding. And the woman is not called the groom's groom. Because the groom is meant to groom his bride. He's meant to make her better. That is why he's called the bridegroom. All right? So you will only marry a man that you have the ability to submit to. If you don't, you've missed it. You possibly, your marriage will end in divorce and tears.
All right, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Nalu.
There's something you said about positive.
Yes, sir. Before we come back to that, Nalu has a question.
I just have it's really sad that this hall is not filled, right? It's very sad that the hall is not filled because a lot of things he's saying, a lot of men need to hear it. And you can't exactly blame the women for having so many conferences. The men are not even having so many conferences where they should learn things like this. It's crazy. So I was having a conversation on Twitter a few days back about femininity. So you brought it up. And I think the fact that we have women here, it's best if women and the men here understand that. So I said something. I said, I think because of my experience in the past, you see that when men say women should embrace their femininity, they are indirectly looking for women they can control. That's what they are looking for, women they can control. And I've seen this happen over and over. I know some people will tell you, so when you go through the comment section, you see, that's not it. We just want somebody that will obey, submit. So I say, in essence, I'm not against submission, please, by all means, just like how you concluded what you said now, that's how it's supposed to be. But these people are really looking for someone that will do their bidding 247, someone they can control. And then someone goes ahead to say, a lot of women today are beginning to take the role of men. I'm like, okay, so can you expound more? The person is like, some women now work. So it's confusing because if women can afford their lifestyle, but then when you tell a man that you want this amount of money, the person calls you on a shower, can't you go do, it's crazy. So I think I want to understand what men mean by women embracing their femininity. Are you looking for women you can control, or what exactly? Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, of course not. Of course not. Like I said, the aim is to lead and not to control. The aim is to lead and not to control. Both of you are meant to be better along the line. I'm not the man I was when I married my wife. And she sure ain't woman 0.1%. I don't know. She's not the woman she was when she married me. My wife has so grown. My wife has so grown. By herself, she's a millionaire. By herself. Without any... That's why I said, you are a bridegroom. You are a bridegroom. You understand? From time to time, she just turns to me at very unexpected moments and said, thank you, babe. We were on TV, on Afia TV. And they were asking her, okay, so what are the things you've learned? She said that marrying a man who would take me to the next was key to everything I have been. She said, initially, I was fighting it. But over time, I found out that even if it was not pleasurable in the beginning, I found out that everything he was telling me and making me do was for my own good, my own safety and my own growth. And immediately, I embraced it. You can just Google Mr. and Mrs. Ifechelobi on YouTube. You'll see that. You watch it. It's also fun to watch because both of us are a fun crowd, right? But the aim is to get the next person better. Do you understand? The definition has been watered down over time. That when they are telling women that you need to submit, they are seeing it as, okay, I need to just be the doormat that the man will wipe his feet on. No. Like you come with value and he comes with value. But like I said, you must marry a man who brings a value that you honor. A value that you can make your mission sub to his. That's what that submission means. You can find somebody that is worthy, that his mission is so worthy that you can make your mission sub to his. Because when you submit your mission to him, he will elaborate that mission to the point where you become the woman you are supposed to eventually become. Do you understand? That's what it's supposed to be. And that's the plan. That's why God says, you must love her to the point that you're ready to give yourself up for her. And he now tells the woman, you must submit to him. Because the one who is able to love you to the point of sacrificing everything for you has the right for you to submit, because he has the final code that will complete the circuit of your success. So it is not to seek for somebody to control, no. It is you will even bear witness that there are some men you meet and there's nothing they are saying that is interested to you, that's of interest to you. But there are men you meet and you don't mind if they call, you will answer. Do you understand? If they call, you will answer. Why is it easy for you to answer yes sir to your pastor than to your man? Why? Because there's an elevated platform that he has. If you work in an office, your boss has an elevated platform. So when he coughs, when he sneezes, you catch cold. And that's how it's supposed to be in your home. But you need to find an elevated platform. That's the balance. That's the final balance. For ladies, don't just go marry anybody. Because they said so. Because he's doing Dorime. Because he's Ndike Wobodo. No, don't do that. What is it that you want? That's why self-realization and self-elevation is key. What is it that you want out of this life? And then you look for someone who has the key to groom you into it. So it's not just I met him, boy meets girl, girl likes boy, boy is tall, fair, handsome, and with 6 packs. So girl falls in love and marries boy. It's deeper than that. It's deeper than that. There's actualization. There's a faster, it's one of the most powerful networks that will get you to where you need to be in life. One of the most powerful networks. There's hardly, because of that understanding, there's also hardly anything I do now, hardly any change I make, even when, I have all those ideas and all that does not pass through my wife. There's now an exchange. But when there's a stalemate, this person, this office has the veto power. Because at the end of the day, he has the mandate both from God and from the natural progression of things to call the right shots when the time comes.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause. A round of applause. Thank you very much, sir. That will be all. Thank you very much, sir. Please.
So we'll be on our way. Thank you for
Please.
listening.
Okay.
You can connect with us. We have a couple of social media handles that you can connect with. TEDx Enugu is on Instagram and on Facebook. Obiago, the speech series, is also on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Fetchy Muse, and my Facebook is my name. Yeah, so you can connect. I answer messages once in a very red moon.
So, please,
Yeah.
just one more thing, because part of what we want to do through this conversation is for us to be having a regular conversations for young men.
Very important, extremely important.
Yes. So, on behalf of everyone here in attendance and those who could have attended but didn't, we would like to appeal if we could get you, have a regular conversation
Online.
virtually. Yes.
Online.
Online.
Just let me know ahead of time.
All right.
At least 2 weeks ahead of time. We'll fix it. Yeah. If you don't get me, Nalu is always in charge of my itinerary.
Okay.
So yeah, she can fix it up. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
All
God
right.
bless
Thank you, brother. Please, a standing ovation as he leaves. Thank you.
Me, I love your body and your melanin. Follow me, go. Give me ginger. Take me high with my energy low. I never love you, finish, oh. Don't leave me, oh, Roma. Baby, let me take you to Ibiza. Let me put a ring around your finger.
Please, while we wait for the next session, please, we just have 2 sessions and we are done. Please, you can have your seats. While we wait for the next session to start, please, we would like to do something, speed networking. So please, while the music is playing, please, let's just take 2-3 minutes, move around and connect with those you meet here, okay? Remember, we've talked about networking. Please just move around, meet someone that you've never met before, and try to connect with them.
Keep my action. Don't do too much, I love you with passion. Jessica, Jennifer, family last shot. I will soon be like no more fornication. You don't know, baby, my son. Girl, I want some. I said, now you, only you, I want the sanction. Yeah, I'm all yakpa for my catalog. When I only you, what I want for my mansion. I just be honest. I don't mind if I be honest. She in control when she feel on it. The petrol that hold me down. You like this, I like in my love. I love being your love. I'm tryna show you up. You up. She really the A-list girl. She really my favorite girl. I'm loving the way you twirl. You twirl in the Maybach. She really the A-list girl. She really my favorite girl. I'm loving the way you twirl. You twirl. Fresh up and it on me. But you can't do it slowly. You're dirty wine, would you burn it for me? Take a picture in your short sleeve. I had a feeling, one of the things. You'll be there, reason I stay. When you ain't girl, you make me say. Ooh, crazy, crazy. You are amazing, girl, you're amazing. Yeah, sweet chocolate, one bite. They say I love it, to make a man fight. But I girl, hold up, who better than? Bring her my own, my girl fine like it at a bang. I like the way she boogie down. Give me booty bounce, make her elevate her finance. Keep pushing on pressure, give her that girl lecture. Sharp like saber, my girl so fine. Give me that one. I like the way you twirl. You twirl in the Maybach. She really the A-list girl. She really my favorite girl. I'm loving the way you twirl. You twirl. Fresh up and it on me. But you can't do it slowly. You're dirty wine, would you burn it for me? Take a picture in your short sleeve. I had a feeling, one of the things. You'll be there, reason I stay. When you ain't girl, you make me say. Yeah, you're pretty, my girl. Turn up the night, turn up the dance floor. I should ride the motorcycle. You know you got to kick my drum. I've been moving. I've been moving. I've been moving. I've been moving. This is the kind of metals. These conversations. Distance money can never. This has been enough for you. My darling, I believe in the life. Time is to have fun. Let's take this time to get high. Need confirmation. Cause I've been moving. I've been moving. I've been moving. I've been moving. I'm blessed of a hair savings. I will run if I had sadness. Look, good drama, I'm being honest. Just a little drama, I'm being honest. You can tell that I run out of time. You can tell that I run out of time. Unavailable a lot of times. Unavailable a lot of times. You can tell that I run out of time. You can tell that I run out of time. Unavailable a lot of times. Unavailable a lot of times. I've been moving. I've been moving. This is the kind of metals, these conversations. Distance money can never. This has been enough for you. My darling, I believe in the life. Time is to have fun. Let's take this time to get high. Need confirmation.
Mama sent a photo. Mama sent a photo. Mama sent a photo.
Black flag, get down, your jokers get me with block.
There
dey find real investors, though, no be skills.
Please, everyone, can we all come inside now? Please, everyone, can we all come inside now? Please, everyone, can we all come inside now? Everyone, can we all come inside now? Please, I would like everyone to come inside now.
For the vibe I've been out for days. Steady chasing the bar, they concentrate. Anytime I day, whether night or day, I day on my chase. Even on my leg, they go they dance to the bed, they go feel like rain. Cause anything where I drop, then go chop a J. Whether night or day, I day on my J. I day on my J. Kese, 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 kese. Kese, kese, baby, kese, kese. How many times they go tell the person? They know they pay to they learn the lesson. Shama ya baby they bed. And they survive anytime we did it. I don't get time, I don't get the patience. Spread the money plenty. Bedu, tell them I could dance. Bedu, make it dance. Bedu, let the music in the play. Bedu, almost say you could dance. Bedu, tell them I could dance. Bedu, you could dance. Bedu, you could dance. So tell me what you wanna do tonight. You know the party no go make sense if you never did it. Make the party come alive. We done the 02 to 03. My love best seat, alawa. So baby, tell me why you wanna. She body make you do as you like.
Please, if you still want refreshment, just give yourself a wiper. Yes, all right. So please, ushers, please, let's go for second tenor. Let's go for second tenor. All right, so what we are moving in now is we are moving into a special panel session that we have for this young men conference, and this is what we call an intergender dialogue. Okay, please, can everyone hear me? I know we are tired. Okay, I know you are tired, but please don't quit on me. Please, I know we are tired, but please do not quit on me. All right, please. Can we have everyone outside come in? Please, can we have everyone outside come in? Can we have everyone outside come in? All right. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone, once again. So, as I was saying, we have a special session that we want to move into right now. Please, are you still with me? Please, if you are with me, let me know. Are you still with me? Don't worry, there are a round two of a round two is going to go around almost immediately. Okay, so please, we want to have a special discussion. Okay, because oftentimes as young people, one of the challenges you see has to do with our relationship with the opposite sex. You know, as young men, okay, relating with the opposite sex for some young men is a challenge, and for some young women, they claim that men are so mysterious that you ask them what is doing you and they say nothing. when it is written all over their face that something is doing them. So these are things that we experience, okay? And being that we are having a conversation around positive masculinity, and being that this is a young men conference, we thought it wise to create a session where we have both male and female panelists get to discuss on how we can grow together, as members of the opposite sexes, okay? How we can grow together. So we are going to be considering the realities of relationship between male and female, especially the young people, the realities today. We are going to be considering the challenges that we have in terms of relationship amongst members of the opposite sex. And then we're also going to be considering the opportunities that exist for better interactions between young men and women today. Are you excited about that session? Excited about that session. So it's going to be an interactive session, and we have 4 panelists who are going to be doing justice to that discussion. And of course, you are also welcome to participate in that conversation. And our online viewers are also welcome to participate in that conversation. All right. So please, can we sit forward? Okay. Can we sit forward? Can we sit forward, please? Can we sit forward? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Please, can we sit forward? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, please, because of our time, we won't be reading out the profiles of our panelists, okay? And if you've seen our publicity materials, you should have seen the profiles of our panelists. So, in no particular order, we are going to be welcoming our panelists who are going to be doing this justice to this conversation. And the first person we would like to invite is the person whose name confused a lot of persons that they had to ask her, please, what is the correct spelling of your name? So please, join me. Put your hands together as we welcome Miss Abigail. Miss Abigail Chiwenjo Felix. Please, a round of applause for her. All right, thank you. Thank you very much. And the next person I would like to welcome is the current president of SPE UNN, that's Society of Petroleum Engineer, right? Okay. Society of, is there any SPE member here? Any SPE member? Oh, wow, that's interesting. All right, so please, a round of applause as we welcome Mr. Nwachukwu Simon Jude. All right, so the next person we would like to welcome is the person who most persons refer to as El Favi. Okay, so please put your hands together as we welcome Favor Oba. And the last but not the least is the lead voice of his voice, UNN, in the person of, should I use the pastoral office or I should leave it for the pastoral? Okay, please join me as we welcome Pastor Lazarus Oluchukwu Joshua. All right. Okay, and you already know who I am. So I'll be coordinating this session, and please, let's do it together. Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for me. All right. Okay, so like I already said it in the introduction, this session is geared towards having conversations around how we could, have better relationships amongst members of the opposite sex. Okay, now, I would like to open this conversation with, we have, you are in history, home science, right? Lab technology, engineering, okay, and engineering too. And being that you are the president of engineering, and, it's widely believed that engineering is made up of 90% men. And even the 10% females there, they are still called men. That's how serious it is. That's how serious it is. So we'd like to hear from you, sir. How has it been, from your view, what have been the challenges of females in engineering, getting themselves integrated in and relating with their male colleagues?
All right. First of all, thank you for that question. I think, number one, the engineering faculty is generally known for having more male than females. And it's a problem in the long run because the women are disadvantaged. But then, when you look at it in a broader lens, you see that the women end up doing better. Not because of maybe any disadvantage or any opportunity, but because of the fact that they know that where they are is not where they can relax. They know that where they are is where they have to either step up or get out. Because the engineering, they treat them as a man. But that's not their general overview as a lady coming into the Faculty of Engineering. They feel they want to be as a lady. The engineering faculty doesn't treat them as such. So it's a problem. But then, because they know where they are, and because they understand what they are doing there, they tend to become stronger women in the society. And them being stronger women makes them a very, very valuable asset to the engineering body. The current president of NSC is a woman. So you can imagine the growth that engineering women are having in society. So thank you.
All right. Please, let's put our hands together for him. Okay, please, Bella. Now, you are someone that you have numerous engagements that, bring you, face to face with members of the opposite sex. Okay? Your engagements with ISEC, right? JCI, and also being a historian in training. Okay, so it brings you in close contact with members of the opposite sex. So could you share with us how your experiences has shaped your understanding of the male gender? Your experiences, how have your experiences shaped your understanding of the male gender?
Thank you very much. So firstly, I would like to say two things and then I'll go ahead and answer his question. While I was doing my research through the nights for today, I was so excited because this is a topic that I think we all are going to enjoy. So I'm super excited to be here. Then secondly, I was having a conversation with an acquaintance over the week, and she said something like, Bella, I don't think guys will come. They don't like to sit and listen to people talk. They think they have everything figured out. And to be honest, I was disappointed and discouraged to an extent. But I came here today and I'm seeing a lot of guys, so I'm super excited you're here. You're willing to learn and also listen. So please give yourself a round of applause, please. That's so good, that's so good. Now quickly to answer his question, I think I would want to speak on the dynamics of communication, right? So recently I worked on a project with someone, and the first time we were in the meeting and we're grouped in teams. They are giving us our topic, we're supposed to start working. And then what this guy did was, he was my teammate, he took a book and then just scribbled down what he thinks we should do. And he just gave it to me, Bella, this is what we are doing. I'm like, hey, how is that happening? We are teammates because we're supposed to, work together, collaborate together, and bring an end result. At first, I was livid because you don't do that. That's you trying to be dismissive. You think I don't have anything to, contribute to the project. So I was so sad, but I had to, call him and then talk to him. Then secondly, about the communication, there is a dynamic to the way men communicate and to the way women communicate. Women gravitate towards being relational, and men wants to be direct and get with it. I'll give a good example with Victor. Yesterday, I sent Victor a text. I said, good evening, Victor. I hope you're faring well. Please, can you send me the order of events for today? Victor went ahead to send me the order of events for today without answering my, good evening, Victor. I hope you're faring well. To be honest, over time...
Well, I didn't have time to answer you. How are you faring?
No, I get it. I had to call the attention of my brother to this, you would greet him, good evening, Sam. How are you doing? Please, can you do this? He will go ahead and do it and just leave the greeting. So you have to call his attention. Bro, if I'm asking you, how are you doing? I want you to answer how you're doing. If I'm greeting you, good evening. Courtesy demands you actually answer. But over time, I have also come to understand that guys like to be direct. So they are not the relational type, even when women gravitate towards being relational. So they are just direct, they go straight to the point, and that's it. So over time, I've gone to understand them. So when they are misbehaving, especially in the corporate space, there are a lot of it. I just tell myself that is how they do. And then there has been peace. I think that's how I've been able to navigate my way through.
All right, thank you very much. So please, before you return the mic, could you share with us the lessons you've learned relating with members of the opposite sex? What lessons and how have those lessons helped you?
Okay, I think a significant one would be the pressure they actually face. They don't say it, but it's a whole lot. It's a whole lot. And then, the gender stereotypes on men. Men are seen to, you're supposed to appear very tough. Your demeanor is supposed to be stoic. They tell you you're not supposed to be vulnerable. So over time, I see that most of the time when they are putting forth those strong demeanor, they're actually going through a lot. And I've learned to be sympathetic and approach them much more carefully and try to understand them for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, because you raised the subject of stereotype, I would like to speak with Efavi, who happens to be an emotional therapist, right?
Health advocate.
A health advocate. All right, so my question to you is, how would you say stereotypes and societal expectations negatively affect how young men relate with young women and how young women relate with young men?
Okay, thank you for that question. So immediately you asked that, those chit chats we just had came to my mind. So during the break, we just had a chit chat while we discussed the question and answer time that Mr. Chinedu answered. And I and Abigail, am I correct? Bella, okay, I and Bella raised the concern that, you see, I know that we understand submission and then leadership. However, sometimes when it's taught, sometimes when it's, preached, men still see it as subordination. Just like she said that she had a project and the man just, are you trying to say I do not have something to offer? Okay, so these stereotypes that, men are the leaders, they try to subordinate ladies, they try to control, right? They try to demand respect, and we were trying to say that we believe in mutual respect. We are not trying to downplay the ladies are supposed to respect men or submit to men. However, the societal expectation, the whole thing about men being leaders, men being the head, try to just make men try to downplay ladies, try to always demand respect. And as they say, it said that respect is reciprocal, right? I think I would stop there.
Ladies are not supposed to respect, submit to men.
They're supposed to submit to their husbands.
Your husband. Only your husband and your father.
Yes, sir. That's accurate.
That's accurate.
Accurate.
All right. Okay, yeah, that's true. The question of submission is there is only one person, apart from God, your father, and then, of course, your earthly father, you submit to the man whom you have willfully made a decision to cleave to. All right, so please, moving on to Pastor Lazarus Joshua, the lead voice of His Voice UNN. If you want to clap, clap. Yes. Being that you occupy a position where, you have to be a leader, both spiritually and, all around, for both the male and the female, okay? Now, how would you say that you've been able to handle, the challenges that go with misunderstanding in terms of, okay, how will you, is a guy, what, have you had instances where someone looked at you and say, he's a guy, why he command me like this? Or a fellow guy tells you, my friend, respect yourself, oh, me and you, we are guy. Or a lady looks at you and be like, who is he? Who do you think you are? So have you had such experiences? And then, how have you been able to manage your relationships, both with your fellow guys within his voice, and then with the ladies also in his voice?
All right, so let me not just say his voice, and then we say, because I have people that are here. All right, thank you so much for the opportunity to be on this set. And then the question you get to ask is actually a very important one, saying that most of the people who you're presiding over are apparently most people of your same age category. So you're like, what would make them follow you? What would make them want to listen to what you are saying? But then our lead pastor has actually done a good work in our community, where that we kind of honor rankings. So there's all that there. Everybody just gets to know their position. And the fact that I have so many persons who are, it's just amazing because I have so many persons who are in engineering and we're apparently in the same level. So they're like, how do I just come into the Christian garden and tell them what to do, and they get to obey and do it? So it's actually a lot of there's this thing this man said, that one of the speakers, the gravitas word. So I literally see that they've not actually been big challenge, or they've not been occasions where I get to be challenged, just like you asked. So it has actually gone very well. But then as regards the female folks, I have actually been very particular about it. The fact that I know that there are some things I don't get to put out to them to do. I just leave that for the male folks. But then they've been, I will not use the word submissive, but then they've been cooperative. And that's the word there. They've been cooperative. We've established the idea of collaboration, that there's need for collaboration just for the common purpose of collective growth. So it's not like they're entirely serving me. We have a vision in mind that we're working towards. So there's an idea within each of us that, hey, we're aiming towards collective growth. Therefore, all misunderstandings, we bring it to the table. We allow for open conversation. We get to say, you don't get to do this next time, because we try to imbibe discipline. But then at the same time, I'm like, our pastor has done a lot of work there, so literally.
All right, thank you very much for that response. Still hold the mic. Okay, now, you while you were speaking, you made mention about, how you try to relate with the ladies. Okay, now, I would like you to, give an advice to someone who is in a leadership position where he has ladies also who he has to lead. From your own experiences, what would you say have helped you as a leader, of over both male and female? But I think I could say, most especially the female, what would you say has helped you as a leader, in ensuring that you maintain that relationship with them, and ensuring that that relationship remains cordial? Because it's important. It's one thing for you to maintain a relationship, and it's another thing for that relationship to be cordial. So what would you say has helped you? Are there strategies you've been able to put in place? Are there things you've been able to do as a person? We'd like to know.
All right. So personally, for me, I'll just say this on the sidelines. The fact that I even get to prepare for, let's say, rehearse for this, it was actually with a female colleague in his voice. All right, so personally, I kind of know the role I expect a female to play, kind of. So many times
Sorry to cut you short. Yeah. What is the role a female is supposed to play?
I'm going there, sir.
Okay.
For example, now, the Bible said something, said in the, you should only wage war in a multitude of counselors. All right, so many of my counselors, I would say, are female folks. And not like I held anything against the guys, but even for this event, everything I was literally, I think she might be here as well. So I actually thought about everything I needed to do. And then hearing things from her perspective was just amazing. The fact that you know, I'm an idea person, so I need someone who is more zealous to actually compliment me. So someone who is always texting me, have you done this? Have you covered this? Have you done this? I'm like, all right. So most of his voice females are kind of like that. All right, they are zealous and they actually have advices in them. So I'm like, when I'm going to them, I'm not just giving them instructions on what to do. I kind of present the case. What do you think we should do? So I believe they have something in them. There's just something they just can contribute to the table. All right, so that's literally how I've been. When I look at them, like, I know you can contribute something, so I just put it out there to you. I'm not lording it over them. I'm not telling them, instructing them what to do. So even at any point when I give an instruction that looks like a command, they know I'm not usually approaching them like this. But when it calls for like this, they get to submit. So I'll just say the strategies, when I look at them as supportive means, right? So there's actually something they can get to contribute.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, while we were speaking, you made mention that you have more female counselors. So, Bella, I would like to ask you, do you also have more male counselors?
All my mentors are male.
Hey, wait. Okay, so is that your preference, or that's how nature arranged it for you?
I think to a very great extent, it stems from my background.
Okay.
So I have like 6 brothers, and the other 2 sisters were not around, so I grew up among males. So I tend to relate more with the male folks.
Okay.
And I think so much that influenced my choice of mentors.
Okay.
It really did.
All right. So now, you've related closely with men, you know, and earlier you were speaking and you said that you've developed a form of empathy, you know, for men, you know. Now, what would you say is the best way that young ladies, young women could better, you know, relate with men? You know, from your experiences, now you grew up in the midst of six brothers, right? And then you are surrounded by male mentors, you understand? So you have experiences relating with members of the opposite sex. Now, what advice would you give to a young lady, you know, to improve her relationship with members of the opposite sex?
Okay, so firstly, if you want to have a relationship, when I'm talking about relationship, I don't mean romantic relationship right now. So when you want to have a relationship with the opposite sex, look for someone who is sensible. It's important. So, no, for real though, there are women who are not sensible as well. So it's not like I'm facing the male folks, just generally. But for real, you have to, you know, look for guys who are sensible, because my mentors are. So I would really dwell on understanding and communication. Over time, the reason why we have disagreements and misunderstanding is because we really don't have open communications to better understand ourselves, right? So I'll tell a story quickly. I have a senior friend who used to be the former president for SPE, and he recently got a job in Abuja. So I reached out to him just to check up and catch up. How you doing? And how is your new workspace? And he was telling me, Bella, you have to invest in emotional intelligence. And I'm like, emotional intelligence, if I've been able to, you know, navigate my way through my relationship over time, then I should be able to surmount any hassle that comes my way. The next week, I have a misunderstanding with my boss, and it was just a whole lot, right? At that time, I already feel like I'm resenting this person and it's affecting my attitude to work. I had to reach out to him, and he says, okay, this is what you should do, this is what you should do. And I applied it, and it worked so perfectly. So if you are relating with the opposite sex, you must understand them and be willing to communicate. If they do something that you think is not comfortable with you, approach them respectfully and tell them, because if they go beyond that boundary one time, the next they're taking 3 steps, and if you don't call them to order, the next step they're taking might be your last knife, and then you just blow everything up. Right? So I encourage understanding. I encourage open communication. Understand them. Read books. How to better relate with men. I think that works for me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So please, Simon Jude, could you, you know, we've talked about it. You are SPE president, and engineering is male dominated. Now, The other day we came to the hostel, I saw you with a female lady tagging along, you know, how she was just tagging along, smiling all around you. And you know, so when I saw her, I saw that she was also wearing SPE t-shirts. You know, I was like, oh wow, you even have female in SPE. Okay, so I would like you to share a moment, you know, with us where, you know, you've had a positive interaction with the female, and it has helped you significantly in your journey as a person and in your journey as a training engineer.
Okay, so fun fact, 80% of SP executives are women. We have only 2 males. That's the fun fact. Opondo is engineering. That's to tell you that women in engineering are striving, you know, to be better and one wonderful thing working with women is that, you know, a lot of people try to down or underrate. You know, they will amplify the bad part of women. Tell you, see, they're narcissists, they complain, you know, they are very, very manipulative. But then women are highly organizational. Like, they have high organizational skills. My vice president is a woman, my secretary is a woman, all my escorts are women. And working with them is very easy because they tell you, if they're telling me I'm supposed to do this, they're like, they tell me what to do. They pay attention to details. The things I would just be like, I don't care, just do it. They'll be like, no, sir, I want you to go and do it again. And I have to compel myself to go and do it again. Women, generally, you know, they are very, very, very wonderful creatures. And one thing I always like is that, you know, when you come into a society or when you come into an environment, be a woman. You know, let us see those wonderful parts of a woman. Not just, you know, don't just say, men's the men's scum, and then you just generalize and you hate all the men around you. No, instead, you know, tell us that you have something to offer and make those things that you have to offer, prime it and make us see that this is what you really have. And so that when we want to work with you, honestly, I'd love to work with a woman more than a man because I was formerly a hall governor of Njoku Hall.
Okay.
Yes. And I worked with over 1,000 men. And I dealt with a lot of things. You know, the toxicity and everything. It's not easy to, you know, override or go through men. No, but women, they tell you what to do, and you can easily work with them because everybody is communicating clearly. Men, men would even want to override their own men. That's tell you how, is it, I don't know, authoritative or whatever they want to be. So, but women are understanding. And then a man who understands would prime himself better with an understanding woman.
Okay. Please, while you were speaking, you said that in SPE currently, 80% of your executive, members of your executive team are females. Okay. Now, would you say that they've had it easy being in the executive team and being, obviously, since your department is male-dominated, they've had it easy being leaders over the males?
Okay, so generally, one thing with SP is that the women that are there, they tend to make them grow and help them. But the women that are in SP don't find it easy like that. You know, and let me not quote it so much because they will still have to do the tasks that they're supposed to do, regardless of whether it's a job for a man or for a woman. They went for it and they got it and they will take it. And a lot of times you see them complaining, you know, when I'm working with them, they're saying, this work is too much. I'm like, but I don't know, you have to help me do it. Let's do it together. Because I understand that if you know, women, you give them too much work, they'll get to a point where you just zone off. And when they zone off, you cannot even reach out to them again. And that's the end of it. So you just have to understand that they're not just your average men that tell you what to do and they will do. You have to follow them up, understand what they're doing, help them do it, even though it's their role. And by then, they would trust you to a large extent that if you tell them to do anything, they will go to any extent to do it. And I've experienced it so much, and it's been very wonderful. Because generally, I personally grew up with a lot of women around me. I'm the only son. I have like 4 sisters. So women have really, really helped me right from birth up until now. And women are, to me, indisposable. Thank you.
I thought the ladies would have been, roaring, jubilating. Someone said you are indisposable. What's the indispensable? All right, please pardon me. All right. So while he was speaking, and as the conversation has continued, we've seen how a number of us, Joshua shared that he has more female advisors. She is surrounded by more male, and he has 80% women on his side. So, Favor, would like to know, what advice would you give, for both male from your experiences? Okay, first of all, tell us, do you also have more male, in your corner than female? And then what advice would you give, to both young men and young women from your experiences and interactions, as someone who, does a whole lot of things in the online space, and also someone who, relates, has a community for young women, right? That relates more with, that has a thing for young women, right? All right, thank you. Okay, so now, what advice will you give to a young man or a young woman, to better improve their communication and interaction,
Okay, thank you. So when you asked that, I was trying to think if I have more male than females. I think growing up, I had more males. I had more male friends. But then getting to this point, I think I should say they are equal. They are equal, right?
Wow, please, that's a first. That's a first. Please, a round of applause. That's a first.
Yeah. I think it stemmed to the second question. Advice I would have to give to young men and women to improve. It's open communication, open and honest communication. Everything would rise and fall on communication, right? The reason why we have fights is because of misunderstanding, and it's a problem of communication. Like she had said, I'm sorry, I keep pointing to Bella. Like she had said, she said she sent you a message and good evening, hope you're faring well. Send me the order of events, and then you go straight forward to send the order of events. And you don't answer the good evening, you don't answer the how are you doing, right? I think if we understand ourselves, we would communicate better. So if we understand that men are more solution oriented, so when you're talking to a man, when you tell a man, so a lady is maybe complaining to a man. I'm a student, so I'm going to use a student's life. Oh my God, lectures are so stressful. Okay, like we are in exam period now, UNN students, and I'm a finalist, and it's been close to hell. So you go to lectures, try to keep up with projects. For some of us that are science students, you're trying to do practicals, research work for your project. You're keeping up with lectures, and somehow it seems that lecturers become serious during exam period. I hope there's no lecturer here. So yeah, so they are like back-to-back lectures. And then when you come back and you're probably talking to a male friend, you're like, oh my God, lectures were so stressful. And my head is aching. He just goes straight to, immediately you say your head is aching, he goes to, have you taken paracetamol? Or like, have you taken a shot? Like, he just goes straight to the solution. And most times, what the lady is looking for is, oh, sorry. She's looking for you to sympathize.
Women.
She wants you to sympathize with her. So by the time you move to the solution, I have a headache, and you immediately move to paracetamol. Have you taken what goes to the lady's head is do you think I don't know that paracetamol exists and I'm talking to you? So she wants to get the sympathy. She wants to get the empathy. She wants you to, speak her language. So I think if we understand ourselves, we'll communicate better. So when a lady understands that a man is more solution-oriented, and when things like that happen, what I do for the guys in my corner is I try to actually correct. I try to actually say, this is actually what I expected you to do. And it's mutual, kind of. It's mutual because I also give off the energy of, we are more emotional. We are all emotional beings, but the ladies are more emotional. So I also give off the energy of, when a guy is telling me something, I'm already, oh my God, so sorry, And what the guy is looking out for is, okay, let's do A, B. Okay, if you tried A, B, didn't work. How about D, E? So all of that. And we come with our own this thing. So if we understand ourselves better, we'll communicate better. And to the guys too, I think one of the issues we have with communicating with guys is that they tend to really suppress their emotions. And I think that's one of the reasons why we have glitches. Okay, I think Mr. Victor pointed that out. Savic, he had said that you're looking at a guy. I think it was you or maybe someone. You're looking at a guy and you can tell something is wrong. Like his face is not looking well, and you ask, and you're like, Simon Jude, how are you doing? Like, what's the problem? What's going on? I'm fine. And if guys can be more open to communicate, I think we celebrated Men's Days a couple of days ago, and I think one of the things that were raised is that it's okay to talk. It's okay. I wanted to say it's okay to cry. I feel like it's becoming, but then it's okay to actually open up, right? There are ladies who can really understand this. It doesn't make you a weak man. It doesn't make you less of a man when you share. Okay, and yes, and I'll end with this point. Sorry, I'll end with this third point, vulnerability too. So if we can have open and honest conversation, communication, vulnerability. I've forgotten the second point I said. I think we could relate better as young men and women. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so one of the messages we had, also said to cry is human, not woman. That's one of the messages we had, okay? And then while you were talking, you made mention about, you were making reference to what I said, and I would like to ask Bella, who has more men, in her corner, men day, So I would like to ask her, how have you been able to, it seems as though men have a wall around them. So how have you been able to, is it jump over the wall or break down the wall? So in your case, did you jump the wall or you break down the wall? Which one?
Okay, so I don't think I jumped the wall. I think we walked through it.
You walked through a wall?
It is possible. It is possible.
Okay.
So I'll go on and give a quick explanation. I'm going to give a story now because I am a storyteller. I was having a conversation with my brother. I called him. That's my older brother. How are you doing? And he was sounding so down. Big Sam, what is wrong? No, I'm fine. Okay, I tried to, persuade him. I'm your sister. You can talk to me. Don't you know that men are not supposed to be talking about their problems? That's what he said. And at the end of the day, what was the problem? At the moment, he didn't have money, and it was looking like heaven wants to come down to earth. I needed to speak to him. It is okay to be broke at some point in time.
No louder more.
I said at some point. I did not say you should be broke for life. At some point, right? It is okay. So sometimes those things you're going through, it's actually okay to go through them. But because you are isolated, it now makes the problem look so exclusive. You now feel like, I'm the only one going through this thing, and I'm not supposed to talk about it. Men are not supposed to be broke. I'm not supposed to talk to someone when I'm feeling bad. You can speak, right? So when I say I walked through the journey, it means that I actually explained. I didn't just force it out. Talk to me, you must talk to me. No. I explained why you should actually talk. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Bella. And Simon Jude, a final word from you on how men and women could better improve their relationships.
Okay, so first of all, to the men, I think to better work with women, you have to understand who they are. Men are not women, and women are not men. So you have to understand that I'm working with somebody, or I need to talk to somebody. This is a different person than what I've seen in the hostel or in the lodge. I need to understand, or I need to relate to her. Because if you don't eventually end up going or working well with her. And then you start having fracas with the woman. And it's always stressful because the woman always wins at the end of the day. So it's always best you just, keep safe or play safe so that you don't eventually start having issues. But to be able to go through this kind of issues, you have to have effective communication. She said it again and I would say it. Just open. Effective communication. You have to communicate effectively. Not only necessarily your problems, but what you want and how you want it to be done. Let us understand. Let us have common grounds to build a relationship up so that when I'm talking to you, you know what I'm talking about. And from there, we are going up. So that even if love or any other affairs wants to come in, it's coming in from the foundation you've already raised, which is the common grounds of relationships. So I think it's going to really help a lot of men in anything. You're coming to a woman, don't just act as if what you only want is just a one night stand and then you're done. No. Act like you want to build something with the person. So the person will be willing to open up and share with you. Then for the women, I think you have to also understand the men. That some points, they might not necessarily be the man you want or the kind of person you want. And I think the way you can easily go through is by appreciating the little ones they do. For a man to tell you something, you should make the man feel like you can tell me more. Make the man feel comfortable talking to you. Don't just make it, because a lot of women, if a man tells you one, you gossip the whole thing with your fellow women. The thing is like
right.
news. You get? So that's one way you can eventually do that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sincerely, I would have loved for us to continue this conversation, and because this is a conversation that affects every one of us here, okay? Because we don't exist in a vacuum, okay? And there is no way you can stop yourself from having at least one member of the opposite sex around you. There is no way. Okay, except if you will decide to go and live on the island, okay, and God help you, if you're able to find an unoccupied island as at today, okay. All right. So thank you very much, P. Josh. Thank you very much, Favi. Thank you very much, Bella. Thank you very much, SPE. Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for them. Please appreciate. Thank you. All right, so we are now closer to leaving this place than when we came in. Okay, and I want to appreciate every one of you who have been here up to this point, and thank you. Please, a round of applause for yourself. A round of applause for yourself. A round of applause for yourself. Please, if the Zobo they gave you is not doing what it's supposed to do, just you can wave your hand. I will tell them to bring another one for you, so that it will definitely do what it's supposed to do in you and for you. Okay, so we are going to be moving into the final session we have for today, and the person that will be handling this session is someone who is very dear to my heart. He is a friend and he's a brother. And he's someone that, why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? You've made me lose my steez. I'm not shy to talk. So he's a friend and he's a brother. And he is someone that I've watched closely and I admire a lot of the things he does. Okay, I admire a lot of the things he does. He's very enterprising. He's very spiritual. He's very agile. And one thing I admire about him is the way he tries to relate with people is very amazing. You know, we could just be walking on the street and he sees someone, a stranger. I myself, eyes front, I'm going where I'm going. He has already stopped the person, and before you know it, they've sat down and they are talking. I'm like, okay. So please join me as I welcome my own covenant brother, Pastor Felix Duru.
Okay, guys, you may have your seat. It's been a long day already. How are you? Okay. Do we have ladies? We have ladies, right? Okay, so I'm going to be talking about men, but I'm going to be talking to ladies. So about and to. You get the point. Okay? So they've given me the last baton to run the last leg. And I was here yesterday night, and I've been here since morning, though I've been going out and coming in to make sure that our engine runs well. First of all, I want to say a very big thank you to Savik and all of the team members. You guys should just give yourself a big round of applause. You're amazing. Great job. Thank you, guys. So can we quickly run? Hey, how are you, President? Okay. Are we recording? All right, let's shoot. First of all, I'll tell you my story, and then I would navigate. My name is Felix Duru Abayomi, and I was born into a polygamous family. By human calculation, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't go to school. I shouldn't know how to speak English. I was born in Ore. So everything you see here is just by the grace of God. Everything I do. We started. Can I get the other mic? This mic is failing and failing. Okay, it's the same. All right, but you guys can hear me. All right, so Father, we thank you this moment. I ask that you speak to our heart and help us navigate this truth in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right. I'm just a little bit emotional. My dad fell ill when I came here. I came here 2015-ish. So I resigned from a job in Lagos and then obeyed God to come east. So I saved up my money and came here, and then my dad fell ill, and then I went back to take care of him. And he died under my watch. So when they called me in and told me that my dad was dead, I stood right beside him. He was just lying, looking like he was sleeping. And I was just crying. And, I have, now, think about it, I have 15 siblings. So, and out of everybody, and this man right in front of me had 3 wives. And I'm the first person to know that he was dead. And I'm the first person that will start telling everybody that the man was gone. So the burden was high, the stakes were high. But then this was the guy that every other person, a whole lot of my brothers had a lot of issues with my father. Like he didn't care, he didn't pay school fees, he didn't do this one. But when he was passing, I saw him as he was. I saw him as the guy that didn't know how to do more than he did. Do you understand my point? I saw the man, I saw the boy. I saw beyond the, bring cars and... So I saw him in his weakness. And what I learned will shock you. Is that, please write this down. This will shock you. The boy is always hidden in the man. Never. Ladies, did you hear me? Ladies, do you hear me? Hello? The boy is always Hidden in what? The man. Never forget that as you are maturing, when you grow as a guy, your job is to navigate to sonship without losing your childlikeness. Did you hear what I'm saying? Are you getting me? You are ladies, your husband, whoever you are going to marry. Pastor Vic is a boy. Everybody say Pastor Vic is a small boy. He likes candy. He likes somebody to rub his head. Baby, how are you? How was your day? You know, on Men's Day, my wife wrote me a long epistle. When I saw the thing she wrote, Odoguwoke, Ina Abali, Ina Abambo. Thank you for taking care of us. I just went to my bank app and did a lot. The next thing I said, Fugoya. Yeah. There is some, do you understand? Women, did you hear me? Yes. The boy is up. No, see, can you try it? If you are a lady here and your dad is still alive, just pick your phone after this meeting and say, hey, Dad, how are you? I just want you to know that you are a big boy. And all your stress, I'm coming. I'm reading every day. Your labor will not be in vain. I want you to know that I love you. And you are my best boyfriend. You are my first love. Cut the call. His step will change. You cure his BP. You understand? People forget that the boy is still inside what? The man. For example, some of you love your pastor so much that you don't know that your pastor, the boy is still inside what? Try it. After a wonderful Sunday service, hot sermon, send him a text. Pete, thank you. You just changed my life. Thank you. Thank you for saying yes. He will go and read the Bible again. Maybe he prayed for 30 minutes for that meeting. Oh, man, darabos. So what I'm saying in essence is that the men, no matter how tall, no matter how big, still need compliment, still need affirmation. So we're going to do something here. Maybe you're a guy. Everybody get on your feet. Stand up. Free yourself a little.